Both of these teams, I believe, in the past, and we know what to expect, which I think makes this series really exciting because we can build off of those previous narratives and those previous expectations that we set for the teams the first time around.
Yeah, and like you said, both these teams right now are undefeated, but there's one key difference right now, and that's the fact that Legacy Amber has already played and beat Drop Dead Gaming, who,
Yes.
as we know, is also going to be one of the teams fighting for the top of that leaderboard, fighting for the title later on in the season. And Akuma, they haven't beat them, but they also haven't played them. So there's a lot riding on this game. I think it's very possible whoever wins today is going to end up winning Group A. So I'm really excited for this. I mean, these are two such strong teams.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind, this is week number 5. We're starting to get down there in the regular season. A lot of these teams are thinking about playoffs. A lot of the, regular rec leagues like Blue Water, like Aegis, like Titan are starting to get to that point where playoffs really does become a factor into what these teams are thinking about. So I think right now, when you are at the top of the table, it's about getting that seeding and making sure that your road to that high place in the playoffs is as secure as possible. So that's exactly what you said, Toki, and I 100% agree with it. Winning here really secures your spot in Group A for them. And so I'm looking forward to seeing which team comes out on top here because these teams, like we said, haven't lost. And these are two organizations that aren't used to losing. I don't think I've seen Akuma lose very many series across all the leagues that I've cast. And I think Legacy Amber, I don't think I've seen them drop a single series in my time here on Titan Immortal. So this will be possibly a first for me seeing one of these organizations actually drop a series.
Yeah, and there is going to be a little bit of a roster swap today for Legacy Amber as well. Violent Chill, not going to be playing today, will be getting replaced by Places Stalbo. Not sure what the reason is, not sure if it's a scheduling or if they thought Places Stalbo would be better for today, but either way, I think if you're going to swap any player out of your roster, AD Carry is probably the best one in terms of not messing with team cohesion overall. That's at least my opinion, and I say that as an ADC, we were very replaceable in some cases.
I think that's somewhat true. Obviously, you've got the synergy that you build up with your
Yeah.
support. So I think that might be an angle of attack here for Akuma just right out of the gate in the laning phase where they can really flex Radagon and Melinia's ability to 2v2 just because they've played together longer and they've got that set cohesion that you talked about. But I feel like whenever I look at Legacy Amber, it's not the bot side that I look at. Even if it was Violent Chill or even if it was Places Stalbo, I always look at the top side for these guys. I think that Bai has been a consistently good top laner. I think Bok Choi is an amazing mid laner. These are two solo laners that I think are at the top of the table and give Legacy Amber that extra bit of firepower that gets them so high in the standings every time they compete.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised to see very strong performances coming out from those solo laners, but I remember when we did cast Akuma Twinblades here, I believe it was in week 2. Fortnite had an excellent showing in that mid lane as well. So I don't know about you, but that's definitely going to be the matchup that I'm going to be keeping my eye on today.
And these are two players that are very used to being aggressive. Bok Choy, we know he loves things like the Vladimir, these more damage-dealing, bursty mages that obviously take their time to scale, but once they do scale, they can really tear a game asunder. And then Fortnite loves to get aggressive, things like the Akali, things like the Echo. He loves his pocket assassins. And so that means we'll probably be seeing a lot of action in the laning phase. And I would imagine that both the junglers and the supports understand the volatility of this matchup and will be doing everything in their power to get roams up here and there. Maybe we'll see more supports on the roaming side of things like the Bard, like the Leona, like the Rel, even possibly.
Yeah, but either way, it does sound like we have our draft ready. So it's time for us to head over to the draft for the game number 1.
Yep, looking forward to it, as it does look like we are going to be seeing Legacy on blue side. So for the case of Akuma, really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be going on 3 and 5. If the importance of, getting Fortnite's champion immediately is a huge priority, or giving him counter pick is more of the idea. But like you said earlier, Toki, because we did see some switch ups from the Akuma roster, we are going to be, eliminating some ban options for them here. They are going to be missing all 3 of their first bans, which already gives Legacy Amber an opening here to maybe steal away some powerful B1s.
Yeah, and what's always interesting for me when you do lose those 3 bans, so definitely you're going to have the advantage with that B1. But I've always wondered, because it does overall leave more OP picks. So especially when teams have similar champion pools, I feel like it opens up a lot of different compositions that we typically don't get to see. Just because every single time it's just banned away at the first phase. So
yeah,
I'm definitely not happy because of the reason why they're losing these 3 bans, but it definitely does make game 1 a lot more entertaining.
It definitely does, and we could see a lot of focus being paid toward Fortnite. Both the Orianna and the Hwei targeted his direction, as we do have a gray screen, or a black screen rather, for that first pick. So we'll find out what the pick is for you guys in just a few moments. But yeah, for the time being, okay, we might have the same bug that we had a couple of weeks ago, where the entire draft is black screen.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shame.
There we go.
There it is. Okay, so we do have the Rise for Legacy Amber, and it's gonna be the Senna for Lost from Light. So it looks like it is gonna be coming through, just on a little bit of a delay. I see the Talia locked in there as well. So very interesting. Now, this is probably gonna be the Marksman Senna, I'd assume. We haven't really seen a fasting Senna in a very long time, but a lot of range already from Akuma.
We can see that Rise plus Zinzao means that they don't have a lot of that, right? They are very short range at the current moment, so they'll draft up the Sivir to give them some long range poke, and some ability with that on the hunt to close the gap. I feel like Wukong might be a good option here. You can use it with the Shroud to get that snap engage, and it also is just the tried and true. Oh, let's go! Let's go!
Yeah, obviously Quacks, the Cosmics OTP, gonna be so excited to see it this time. Okay, so you're the expert here, you're the OTP. How is this matchup with Shin Zhao?
It's actually good. I freak out at people that pick this champion in terrible situations, but this is a good Kha'Zix angle. The enemy team is short-ranged. They don't have a lot of escapes. The W has a ton of value here. Senna gives him a ton of Shroud value, and Talia can pair up with him for aggressive plays. This is a beautiful Kha'Zix angle. How did I not call this out? Toki, what am I doing?
Yeah, I'll tell you what you're not doing. Playing in this game, unfortunately, because it is going to be someone else taking this perfect Kha'Zix. And I know how you feel, because when you see your favorite champion in the game in his perfect angle, you're already envisioning yourself making those plays for them, but...
Oh, this is such a good game to pop off on Kha'Zix. This is an amazing angle for the champion, as we are going to continue with the bans. A lot of top laners focused down here by Legacy Amber. Akuma targeting supports, and then Rel going to be locked up here along with the Senna. So it already tells us that the roaming is going to be strong from both of these teams. We talked about Rel being an angle. I think Bard would be another really good shout here. We have the ability to just kind of leave Senna alone, leave Sivir alone, and go up toward this top side.
Oh, there it is.
Aggressive. So there it is. It is going to be locked in. All right, this draft is just amazing. Both of these teams, they're ball knowers. Toki.
So for Legacy Amber, one thing that I'm seeing, I feel like their engage is going to be a little bit difficult to pull off, because it is primarily short range. They do have the Bard with the Tempered Fate to maybe look for some kind of play, but other than that, I think most of their engage is just going to be them running at him. And into a Talia, into a Senna, do you think they're going to be okay doing that?
I mean, that's kind of a tough ask because, of course, you do have, the Audacious Charge and you have the Slice and Dice from the Renekton, or not the Slice and Dice, the Dash from Renekton. So there is a little bit of mobility, but, Sivir is a speed up. Rise is probably going to be rocking the Phase Rush. Bard has his Chimes and just innate movement speed from a lot of his kit. So I feel like the Seismic Shove, it has value in the laning phase, but I do feel like the Legos lose a lot of their luster going forward in the game because a lot of the mobility and a lot of the gap closing on the side of Legacy Amber is not done by a dash. It's just done via insane amounts of movement speed, which I think is perfect into this champion. I will say, I think the Shroud is a lot more valuable, right? Because you do have a lot of these tools that are very point-and-click centered. You think of things like the Rune Prison, right? The Rise W. You think of the Renekton W. These are lockdown tools that Legacy Amber are going to be relying on to get those mid to late game picks that Senna can just completely nullify, right? Because you are untargetable in the Shroud. So I think that if we can see this Senna roaming around the map, kind of playing around their top side, similar to what we're kind of expecting from Valdanio as well, then this could be, or not Valdanio, Mulaney. Wrong support. Then I think that we could probably be seeing a battle of the top sides in essence about which bot lane just kind of plays around them better and which one of them actually can get the snowball rolling faster.
Yeah, well, we'll see exactly how they are going to be able to do that because I believe for now we are going to be heading over to a break. But when we come back, we're going to be heading right into map number 1 between Legacy Amber and Akuma Twinblades. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back momentarily.
With the mop stick, I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
All right, and we are here with game number 1 between Legacy Amber and Akuma Twinblades, and it does seem like they started off by just sending all their members to the bot side, but it doesn't seem like any fight did come through.
Nope, nothing too big happening at the current moment. Like we talked about for both of these top sides, it really is about prioritizing your own conditions, making sure that you aren't giving really any leeway to the enemy team to maybe pull a fast one on you in this early game. As looking across the board at the roots, at the keystones, and nothing too out of the ordinary. Obviously, we do have the Kazakhs running the Conqueror, so this will probably be the build that has been a little bit more popular in the higher elos, where I believe you go Profane into like Black Cleaver. I do think that Black Cleaver, though, doesn't have a lot of value against this front line, simply because looking at the damage profile here from AKM, you don't have a lot of AD threats besides that Kha'Zix. You're expecting AP from the Cho'Gath, and there isn't a lot of application opportunities from the Senna, who, like we talked about in the draft, Toki, we're expecting to be playing around as a supporting character and not a main cast member.
Yeah, definitely. As we have been seeing some decent amount of trading coming out in the bot lane, there's going to be a little bit of trading in the top side as well. And I gotta say, this Hail of Blades Cho'Gath is so annoying to deal with, though. As I talk about that, Bai loves you, getting a lot of damage onto Lost from Light. Might be able to heal up a little bit from the passive, but definitely getting pressured out in this lane.
I mean, you got to hit the minions to apply the passive, right? And you can see that Bai is already zoning him off of the wave, making it difficult for him to heal up in the laning phase. The one silver lining is obviously that you can still get that XP and level up. And also, your jungler is pathing toward the top side. Meanwhile, the enemy jungler is pathing to the other side of the map. So there could be an opportunity here for Fiery to maybe run interference in the lane. But given that he was seen, I believe, on those Raptors by a ward placed by Bok Choy, they know where the Kazakhs is, and unless Bai overextends, probably should be able to sniff that one out before anything too bad happens.
Yeah, we'll at least have a little bit of safety, and Melania actually going in a little bit. Just seems to be buying space right now for Radagon. But Radagon is farming decently in the bot lane right now. It's actually ahead of places Stalbo is in the top side. Bai loves you, starting to get taken down quite low, but so's Lost from Light actually going to preemptively flash. Does not want to get taken down here. That's a huge win right now from Lost from Light.
And honestly, I feel like that flash was 100% necessary, right? The minions were after him, and the fact that he has to burn that flash after such a good amount of trading being done onto the Cho'Gath, definitely feels bad for him, because he's not going to be able to continue that barrage of pressure without that flash, as we're seeing both junglers finishing up their clear. And besides the flash from Bai, not too much has happened here on the map. Both junglers just trying to get some wards down before their reset. And it will be Fiery with a slight tempo advantage because he actually got the recall. Meanwhile, Jerry stalling it out a little bit.
Yeah, gonna have to be a little bit later back on the map, but right now for Fiery, the camps still aren't back up. There's not too much else to take, so it doesn't seem like Fiery's going to be able to get too much of a tempo advantage with this, as once again, the top lane brawler is just going to continue it. But this lane is pushing into Lost from Light, so should be able to heal back up a little bit once it comes through, and we're just going to continue this back and forth. Though, main difference right now is, actually, no, they've both already TP'd back in, so this is going to be rough if Lost from Light can't get anything back.
He still has that flash, though, and also the Rupture, just for the range damage, is nice against Renekton, who is very melee-centric, so he'll be able to even out the HP bars by chunking him out with those. That's what he did last time when we were concerned about his health bar. Yeah, now that the wave is pushed in, he should be able to heal up here with the passive. By not having the Fury means that he probably can't look for a kill. I was thinking maybe he would try to get some lethal damage onto the Cho'Gath, but not having that flash, not having the Fury necessary for the Empowered W means that he will just back on away, and the top lane will resume as normal.
Yeah, and I think Bai loves you. Overall, is still pretty happy with how this matchup is going. Definitely lost his flash and definitely wasn't able to get that extra dive there. Sometimes you would definitely like to on the Renekton, but it's still up quite a bit in CS and is definitely pressuring out with this tempo. And when you pick Renekton, that's basically all you ask for. Just have prio in lane, have that extra pressure to walk forward, and after that, doesn't matter. You're just going to be a stun bot dealing damage in the backline.
Bai doesn't have level 6. I think he tried to hit it on the wave, but now he might have overextended.
Yeah, Fire going to be in position, but the slice and dice really well found to be able to get out even without the flash. As Lost from Light now going to be out of mana, so no pressure, but because Fiery did go up to the top side, this does mean that Jerry X just going to have a free time taking this dragon in the bot lane. So first objective of the game, going to be going over to Legacy Amber.
Yeah, Kozak's getting a little too hasty, which, like you said, gives the first objective over to LA for the time being. And Jerry as well, going to be able to finish up his Krugs and get that reset off. As we still have about a minute and a half, a little over, until those grubs come up. And by that time, I think Buy Slash should be available. And now that he has the Dominus, that Renekton with that Summoner spell can be a huge threat if Akuma do not respect it. So that'll be something I'm definitely on the lookout for ahead of this fight. That and also the Weaver's Wall from Fortnite, just to be able to instantly get into a fight. That should be pretty important. But as it stands right now, he doesn't have a lot of prio and not a lot of opportunities here to reset because Bok Choy is just constantly putting on pressure and pushing him under this tower.
Yeah, and you said that there's going to be the Weaver's Wall. It's actually places Stalbo flashing forward, not going to be able to get the kill onto Melania. And actually not going to be burning the flash either on the Rel. Will get the Summoner heal out, which is going to be good, but now that Places Talbot doesn't have flash, this could be a play as in the mid lane. Bok Choy will get the first blood. Just a clean solo kill on a Fortnite and burns the flash too.
And that's such a feels bad
moment. Now Dominus going to be popping the top side. We're going to continue this action. Bai Lovesy just needs a little bit more damage, but the Rupture going to prevent Bai Lovesy from following up, and without flash, even with the Dominus, it's going to be hard to dive in.
Slightly too late from the Taliyah. That means you don't have teleport, you don't have flash for this fight onto the Grubs, and honestly, based on the prio here, you can see that it just heavily favors Legacy Amber. I wouldn't be surprised if they just get these Grubs with little to no contest. Fiery is actually going to get a sneaky little couple of eyes onto the Bard, making that roam up toward the top side. So I think with the numbers advantage not in their favor, Akuma are going to think better of it. And that's definitely not the position you want to be in. Giving up that dragon because you showed on the top side, and now because of that solo kill in mid and that loss of priority in the lane at the same time, you're not able to get the second objective. It means that all LA need are another dragon, and they can easily get that beat of dragon slaying. They're also leading in the kill, so those upgraded boots starting to smell the footwear.
Yeah, exactly, but maybe there's also going to be a dive. Now, will they be able to smell this one out? Because Vlad Daniel actually going to be the target of this Fiery, going to be going forward, gets the taste of fear, and will knock them right back. And Dawning Shadow over top. Radagon somehow going to be the one to get the kill despite being a screen away.
All right, you can see Bok Choy is trying to roam down. He does have his ultimate, but the Weaver's Wall is much quicker. There's no wave, though.
Coming in as well. They will be able to take down Places Stalbo, but can Bok Choy get anything back? Fortnite will get burst down, so it's an extra 1-for-1 trade on the bot lane, but Akuma got the first one.
And Fortnite going down there, honestly, I feel like that is 100% worth it, because we could see the Taliyah will be able to respawn Fortnite's life, but they just didn't anticipate Bok Choy being there. So it ultimately is a 1-for-2 good fight here for Akuma. Now it's tied up 2-2 in the kill department. Next one will determine who gets that tick on the feats.
Yeah, now a lot of poke happening towards that mid lane as pretty much everyone's grouping up as Fortnite going to get knocked backwards, but Tempered Fate going to get rid of the turret. And because of that, that is going to be a kill going over to Legacy Amber, and that's going to be the feat of Warfare going into their pockets.
And that was so good from Valdanio, making use of the roaming from the Bard, ulting the tower, turning it off, and making it so that Fortnite with no flash had... closing that distance between them, and with the tower being turned off, it's just an easy pickings as Fiery interrupted here by Valdanio. All us junglers hate that, by the way, as Dominus actually popped in the top lane, I think by looking for a lethal kill, but just not able to find it.
Yeah, but did burn Lost from Light's flash, so definitely getting something there. Dominus gonna be back up first before that flash. So Bai Loves You just going to continue putting up the pressure on the top side. But in the meanwhile, Akuma looking for their first objective of the game here. Just gonna start hitting onto that dragon. And it looks like this one's not going to be contested. They have the priority in the bot lane. Bok Choy and Jerry, they are already on vision in the mid lane, so first dragon of the game going to be going over to Akuma, but they will lose the Raptors for it.
Honestly, I feel like that's still okay for Legacy. Like, you don't have the setup around that dragon, and you are still one away from getting the Feats of Warfare. So, for me, it's definitely still good for them, but a much-needed dragon there.
Oh, the
Akuma.
TP! No! Lost from life!
Lost from life!
They're all there! And he's trying to get away, but Bok Choy going to be the one to get the kill, but now the rest of the team is following up. Magnustorm going to be able to find a couple. Magical Journey does separate Valdanio. Now Dawning Shadow over top gives a little bit of a shield, and Fortnite actually gets saved by the Tempered Fate, but Malenia going to be the first to go down. Radagon now trying to trade, will be forced to flash over the wall, as Jerry X going to be able to take down Fiery in the backline. So far it is a 3-for-1 for Legacy Amber, and they could definitely just re-dive onto Fortnite.
Yeah, they're going to. I mean, they've got the portal, and they're just gonna go over.
See
Fortnite
you
has
later.
nowhere to run. He's not even gonna go and use that flash. He gets taken down, and it's just wins across the board here for Legacy Amber. As all the while that was happening, to end that exchange.
Yeah, and I mean, it is very unfortunate for Akuma. I mean, everything started from that TP. And Places Stalbo wasn't even in that fight. That was a 5v4 for Akuma. And they're just losing everything down to that bot side. So, gonna be a very difficult situation for Akuma to bounce back from. They're down 4k gold now. And now with the next dragon coming up, actually it's 2.5 minutes, but they're gonna be fighting over the River Prio at the same time as Bai I Love You still trying to trade on the top side, getting so much damage on a Lost from Light.
But we could see the item difference is making a pretty big impact on those trades. The Carnivore is going to allow Lost from Light to heal up some of that HP, but I mean, it's just the fact that at the current moment, Bai has a Eclipse. Lost from Light doesn't have his first item, so every time they go for a scrap, the Renekton is the one that is victorious. As we go back to the jungle, I mean, look at Valdanio, by the way. He's just constantly in the face of Fiery. This is what we hate as junglers.
Yeah, just really preventing Fiery from farming up safely. Just at the very least, going to be slowing down Fiery, and most importantly, going to have vision of where this Kha'Zix is. Basically, going to be telling the rest of the team exactly where they can play aggressive, where they can play passive, but is the top side. Because of that information, Bai Loves You knows he has to play a little bit passively. Dominance is up, and maybe could do quite well to Lost from Light 1v1, but because he knows Fiery's there, has to play a bit passively, but won't go down, and that's the main thing.
And he's isolated too. You don't want to mess with the Kha'Zix if you're isolated, so I think he smartly backs away there, doesn't try his luck despite having the Dominus. And
but on the
Places
hunt, going to
Stalbo
be
popping the
coming through.
ultimate.
Magical Journey as well as Radagon trying to get damage on a Places Stalbo over top, and now it's going to be the 1v1 versus the Bard. But Bard is very strong as a support. One
Oh
auto
my God.
needed. Actually, it's going to be Bok Choy coming in from nowhere, making sure that kill goes onto a carry, and they're just overloading the bot lane.
And that felt like overkill. Radagon was dead, and they said, "Oh, four." But I feel like like it's not going better on the top side here for Akuma as it is. As Lost from Light randomly died, by the way, or it was a 1-for-1 actually on the top side. So it's an 0-2 Cho'Gath, it's a 1-in-1 Kha'Zix, and it's a 2-in-4 Talia. Those are not stat lines.
But now Radagon getting attacked here with the Crescent Guard. Even prevents Malenia from following up on that play. Now Malenia could be in trouble. Is going to be in that defensive form, but unfortunately the defenses aren't high enough. His Bok Choi going to be 5-0-3 after that kill.
Fiery trying to sneak away a Herald. Will be able to do so, but now he's got to run for the hills. He's going to probably try and connect with Fortnite, or he could use Shelly to try and escape. All right, let's see his driving skills.
Yeah, we'll be able to find his way out. And I love that players are starting to use the Rift Herald just as a get out of jail free card. I think that was probably the single best adaptation of this mechanic that I've seen.
I agree, but at the same time, it's definitely a sad moment when you have to use the Herald to escape rather than take down a turret. And that's something Akuma desperately need here, right? I mean, look on the side of LA, right? They've got a ton of turrets, and so that allows them to push up that vision line a lot more, as we can see a replay of the 1-for-1 here. Baya loves you in the dominance, just an easy pickup onto Lost from Light. That goes back in, probably wants to take the tower, but I would imagine, yeah, just overplays his hand, and the Talia will be able to pick him up.
Yeah, but does get the turret at the very least that we're seeing in the picture. Lost from Light gets caught out once again and will be going down, but this is a 0-3 Cho'Gath, not worth a lot of money, and I was gonna say they're gonna be trading for the mid lane turret, but Tempered Fate going to buy a little bit of time on that as they take themselves the dragon on Legacy Amber.
So they're gonna get their first tower of the game, but they're gonna surrender the river to do so. Legacy will get their second Drake of the game, which not the end of the world for Akuma, but it does mean that they really have to start shaping up some areas to be winning in the next few minutes, because the next one will be Soul Point, and right now it doesn't feel like Akuma are really in a position to fight for these dragons. It's acceptable now to give one up, but that cannot be said for the future. So they have to get some kind of play that changes their stance on the game, and it looks like Legacy Amber don't want to give them that opportunity, as they're just all dogpiling in on the top
but plays
side.
a Stalbo getting jumped on in the backside. Fiery looking for the solo kill. Won't have the damage, but there is going to be the extra damage coming out from Fortnite. Now Seismic Shove, they're turning this around. Bok Choi going to be rooted up. They got Valdano in the backline as well. Will go golden, but it only delays the inevitable. Jerry X going to be the last one here. But that's a 3-for-1 for Akuma, and they got the turn with the objective bounty. They're turning this game around.
It'll be traded here by Bai in the mid lane, but it is the first definitive victory here for Akuma. As I was thinking, just being surrounded like this, coming from all angles, it wasn't going to be, there for Akuma. They weren't going to have the damage to fight back, but I feel like the big thing that turned it around was Fortnite getting into this fight, really starting to place down the damage, forcing the rest of LA to run for the hills. And unfortunately, the hills are too far away. They cannot make it.
Yeah, and now over here instead, we are going to be having all of these teams start grouping up towards the mid lane, as I do believe I have lost Quax, but hopefully he'll be back in shortly. Yeah, there he is. But both teams are starting to get grouped towards the spots right now, and Bai loves you. Might actually be a little bit on his own. Will pop the dominant. Seismic Shove actually misses. So now Fortnite could be in a dangerous situation. Rupture is going to land. Shattering Strike, and now they're just grouping up, and the Feast from Lost from Light gets the kill.
Akuma are grouping up in these situations. They're finding picks onto Legacy Amber. They're closing the gold gap here, Toki. A lot of it going onto the Soul Laners. Lost from Light finally starting to get some gold on this Cho'Gath, and Fortnite starting to scale up, having hit that 2-item spike on the Talia. Dragon going to be up in a little less than 3 minutes, so we still have a lot of time until that's there, but Otacon spawning does mean that these junglers getting picks on them just became a whole lot more important. No more evident by the fact that Fiery was the target of a roach.
But now Lost from Light gonna be trading with Bok Choi, but Temper Fate is gonna be there. Now Fortnite gonna be the new target instead. Seismic Shove not gonna land. Fortnite still alive, flashing away, but Lost from Light is gonna be going down, and one final auto gonna turn it on the other side. Meanwhile, Bai Loves You is gonna be going. Jerry X gonna be using that Crescent Guard. Fiery trying to trade back the Void Spikes, kiting back so well as Malenia, trying to get the Shattering Strike, but will go down before it comes through. Radagon still getting so much pepper damage just over the top, but it's not meaningful enough. 3-4-2 so far, but Fiery looking for the angle, is on a ward though. So they do see Radagon, they do see Fiery, and it looks like it's just going to end up 3-4-2 unless they keep poking the bear, and I don't know if that's the right play.
They're trying to look for anything more, particularly trying to look onto Fiery so they can turn on the Otacon, but they're not going to be able to catch him. He's just a little too quick for them as, yeah, here it goes. So we get the replay. Bok Choy goes over. We see the Tempered Fate. And this just means that Fortnite, which has been the biggest proponent of damage for AKM, is essentially taken out of the fight. Valdanio finishes him off with a flash auto. And then I feel like at this point, it's all about AKM trying to survive. Jerry X is doing his best to, you know, close that gap, and they're trying to keep up together so that the isolation damage doesn't pick them off one by one. All things considered, I think Akuma did really good at rebounding this fight in a difficult position by losing their mid laner essentially right out of the gate, but it still does mean these team fights are that much more tricky for them because they have so much single target focused damage with the Senna and the Kha'Zix. Meanwhile, Legacy just have so much more AoE in these enclosed spaces.
Jerry X, Crescent Guard is going to come through,
Fiery.
but Vi loves you coming from behind. Will be able to take down Fiery, slices and dices away. Now lost from light. They are split up a little bit. Places Stalbo taking a lot of damage. Feast not going to be enough for the last hit, but Radagon will be able to finish it off. As now Fortnite will get taken down, as well as Melania on the top side. But on the other side of the fight, Vi loves you still trying to play aggressive.
Fury.
Will be in the Tempered Fate. Radagon, though, looking for the trade back. Not going to be enough. The Rupture did not buy enough time. Lost from light. The final survivor of Legacy Amber. But the dinosaur will go extinct, as it is a clean ace from Legacy Amber.
And the Crocodile is the one to do it. That is one angry by I loves you. The man would not stop. He was pursuing his prey. And Akuma are the feast. Otacon going to be the reward here for Legacy Amber. We had a couple of questions on their ability to rebound this game, but leave no mistake, this team is undefeated for a reason, as we're getting a replay. And I feel like Fiery just a little too lax with his leap here. He leaps in, but then doesn't have any escape. The flank from Renekton is amazing, and you try to use that ultimate to cover the distance, but there's just no point. You used that E too disrespectfully, and you get punished for it. So the jungler goes down, the rest of the team follows. The Otacon is the last thing, and now we go back to live. The Dragon is also going to be picked up here by LA.
Yeah, but there's a fight happening in the backline. They are going to be able to take down Radagon there as we're getting back in. And they're looking for more. Bok Choy is going to be going golden as Places Stalbo still getting DPS off. Bok Choy just needs one more, and the silence is going to be able to finish off that kill. Jerry X now going to regroup with the fight, but is low HP. Fire loves you in the middle of everyone. Will get two. Blazes Stalbo with a ricochet, and it is a 3-for-3 trade cross map, but the Dragon actually goes the way of Akuma.
Yeah, Akuma managed to get their second of the game, so it's tied up in the Dragon department for now, and it's also tied up in the kill department. 3-for-3 across the board. Akuma, despite being around 5,000 gold down, still fighting back in this game. I attribute a lot of that to Fiery managing to single out Jerry X. That Xin Zhao tried to group up with the rest of his team, but was just kind of too low to do so. And a large reason of that was because he was left alone with the isolation bug himself. As we do get a replay, Radagon goes down instantly. It's a beautiful shove by Fortnite. And it's just more chaos on the map. Ever since we coasted around the mid to late game, Toki, it has just been nonstop action between these two teams.
Yeah, and I love this. I mean, these are my favorite kinds of games to cast, and the game started off super slow. First blood, I think it was only at 6 or 7 minutes, and then I think the Feat of Warfare was at around the 10-minute mark. And now we have 38 kills in 25 minutes. The game just absolutely exploded from being passive to every single team being aggressive, as once again, Valdanio just going to be pushing Fiery out of the jungle. Not going to be able to take him down, but is going to slow down that jungle take.
Valdanio has had Fiery's number basically all game. This Bard has not been leaving this Kha'Zix alone, but that has not stopped the Kha'Zix from being somewhat relevant in this game. Obviously, 4-4-4 is not the most flattering score line, but the slow is
Radagon getting a lot of damage. Fiery getting super low, and Dawning Shadow not going to buy enough time. As now Radagon trying to get away from Jerry X. Jerry X is going to get rooted up there. Will get feasted upon from Lost from Light, but Places Stalbo just free hitting this entire time. Going to be able to take down the dinosaurs. Bok Choy actually going to be the one to get the last hit on that. And it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Legacy Amber again.
But both junglers are down, and so I feel like that Baron will still be standing. That is what Legacy Amber's end goal has to be. It's so difficult to siege against the Senna, against the Talia. Not only these picks that are good at wave clear, but these picks that are so good at doing it from a safe distance where you can't dive them without risking your life at the same time as Valdanio is willing to risk it all just for trying to get these kills.
Yeah, Melania starting to get taken down very low. Boomerang Blade not going to be enough. As Radagon just trading back and forth. Valdanio and Fortnite are trading on the back line of that as well as Radagon needs to dodge away that Boomerang Blade, but super low. Everyone's on super low HP, but Fortnite is the one that's on the wrong side of the map. Well, no flash, no Weaver's Wall, or actually does have flash, but gonna be a very difficult escape here. Magical Journey gonna buy a little bit of time, but Fiery gonna be in the area. May have gone a little bit too far in. And now Fortnite gonna be flashed upon by. Loves gonna be able to get one, and the other one from Blazes Salvo.
Fiery tries to save his mid laner, but he puts his life at risk, and now no jungler for Akuma means Baron is just immediately on the menu. You have to think that even if they get Fortnite in that exchange, all the members of Akuma are able to heal back up into the fountain, get those low health bars to a healthy position where they can at least contest you or stall you out. But because there's no jungler, all of that gets thrown out the window. And Legacy Amber, all 5 members going to be wearing purple now, Toki.
Yeah, and with this extra Baron buff is gonna make their push so threatening. And the wave clear right now on the side of Akuma, it's never been amazing, and now it's going to be even harder to do so into these Baroned up minions. Now I'm wondering which way they're gonna group up. They have the mid lane already at half HP, could be going through there. Another dragon's gonna be spawning in less than a minute, could look through the bot side as well.
I feel like now is probably the idea where, or probably the time where you want to go for like a 1-3-1 or a 4-1. You've got the Realm Warp as well, right? So if there is action on the side lane, maybe if Akuma want to overload on this bot side, you can just teleport your entire team there to look for a fight, maybe get that numbers advantage and get that jump onto them before they can pick off this Renekton, which it looks like they're trying to do. They're all in that bush. And
the wave's already crashing. Yeah, the wave's already going to be crashing through the mid lane, and they're just going to be losing their turret. They're going to be losing a lot right now, as in the bot lane. Dominus has been popped, but they already lost their mid lane inhib, and now the trade's going to be going the other way. Fiery going to be in a really dangerous spot. Will be able to leap away to safety, but the push still going to come through successfully. For Legacy Amber's by loves you. Still going forward, and the Magnum Strike is going to be there, but they have the Radagon. They take out the Senna. They take out Melania, and they're just going to take out everyone else. Fortnite, final survivor. It's only a matter of time. We'll get finished off here, and it's going to be a quadra for Blazes Stalbo.
And places Stalvo, the placeholder for the AD carry here for Legacy Amber, comes up big in game number 1, 8-3 and 11, 4-4 and 14 for the Killer Croc, and Legacy Amber continue their undefeated streak here in the Titan Immortal League.
Yeah, and one very big thing to note here, we've talked about neither one of these teams having lost a series the whole season. Akuma Twinblades, before this, has never lost a single map. And so this is going to be the first individual game that they have lost. And Legacy Amber, definitely a team that was, I wouldn't say expected to take it, but definitely one of the possibilities, as they did very much during their first game.
Yeah, absolutely. Legacy Amber, just, I feel, with better map play across the board, right? It's fun to look at things like the Kha'Zix. It's fun to look at things like the Cho'Gath. But I feel like at the end of the day, these meta picks picked up here by Legacy Amber, they're meta for a reason. And I feel like the bars, the rise, just this really omnipresent influence on the map between the support and mid laner. I mean, it's so hard for AKM to get anything on the map, right? We saw how difficult it was for them to get objectives, how they had to go out of their way to get that second dragon and then sacrifice the top side and a dive in order to do so. So it's just these cross-map plays that I think Legacy Amber's comp dealt with better, and they saw every angle to abuse that. And I feel like that is exactly what got them the winning game.
Yeah, Legacy Amber definitely deserved this one with her superior map plays. Maybe they'll be able to bring out a similar composition for game number 2. Maybe Akuma Twinblades gonna go back to the drawing board and bring something out that'll take us to a game 3. But there's only one way to find out, and we're going to find out when we come back after our break and head right into the draft for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. And it was a quick break as we are now back for game number 2 between Akuma Twinblades and Legacy Amber. And despite losing their bans, Legacy Amber definitely didn't seem to lose the game.
No, I mean, Legacy Amber did a really good job in game number 1. I feel like, again, what we saw, particularly from Bok Choy and Valdanio, I thought was really what put them over the edge. Obviously, the main benefactors of those roams, of just that omnipresent focus on the map, for like Jerry X and obviously Place Stalbo, getting that quadra at the end of the game. But I feel like the game, the term that I would use to describe game number 1, Toki, was controlled. It was extremely controlled, and every element felt like it was on your Legacy Amber's thumb. So going into game number 2, I'm expecting that same control to transcend the second time around, picking champions that have the ability to maybe go a little bit global, have the ability to, circumvent some tempo. So obviously we've got things like the Tulia ban, the Rise into that Weaver's Wall is not going to be available, as well as that Realm Warp. But things like Pantheon are still around, still have some champions with global ultimates like the Ashe. So I do think that if you can have something that can really be put in a position where it can impact the rest of the map, even from the smallest and most remote part of the other part of Summoner's Rift, then we are looking at a similar style here for Legacy Amber and possibly a 2-up.
Yeah, I mean, we will have to see, as we are getting a little bit of a delay once again on these champion portraits, but hopefully like last time they'll be back again soon. But one thing I do want to bring up is we mentioned before the start of game 1 that the mid lane matchup is going to be the matchup to watch. And I think in game 1, Bok Choy just kind of owned Fortnite, had complete priority, and I think a lot of those plays just came from Bok Choy.
Yeah, Bok Choy obviously getting that solo kill early was really nice, and burning the flash from Fortnite, making it really difficult for the Talia to actually have presence with that Weaver's Wall once she got it. I think that just kind of cascaded and created a bit of a domino effect that Fortnite and the rest of Akuma Twinblades subsequently weren't able to really get over. So going into game number 3, obviously we have no idea what these picks are, as they're all just dark portraits, but going into game number 2, I am expecting a little bit more respect to be given over to Fortnite, as we do see what's being picked up, and AKM gave Fortnite a Nivea token.
That's going to be a very interesting one. I mean, Fortnite, very strong Anivia player, obviously, but
like one of the best picks into Vladimir, by the way. Doesn't Vladimir hate this matchup? And this is one of Bok Choy's best, I believe.
I mean, I definitely will have to listen to you on that one, because I have not seen a Vlad pick in competitive play probably since I started casting, which was about a year ago.
This champ is so broken. Dude, Vladimir, once people realize how strong Vladimir is as a character, they'll start picking him more. But now we do see the picks coming through here from both teams. Looking at what Legacy Amber have so far, the word that I would use to describe this comp is very scaling oriented. You've got Camille, you've got Smolder, and you've got Vladimir. These champions hit 3 items, and the entire map will crumble around them. So I think the difficulty is going to be getting to that point. Obviously, Camille has that hook shot, so you have the safety in the laning phase to be able to escape some of these ganks from the Silas jungle, which also got locked in here by Fiery here for game number 2. But the same can't really be said for the Smolder and the Vladimir. You have to be really, really conservative with your escape tools, like the Flat Flap and the Sanguine Pool, because if you use those disrespectfully, the Silas will come in, you will go down, and that scaling element to your comp will get delayed all the more slightly. As I predicted it, a Pantheon will be last picked here for Legacy Amber, so that global presence returning here. So
yeah, and we saw what they can do with that, and they even have the setup coming in the top lane with Camille.
They do.
So if they try to set up play for the top side, and it's an Ambessa, she's very strong, yes, but her main strength in terms of escaping ganks is just the fact that she has 20 billion dashes. With Hextech Ultimatum, she has nowhere to go. So this could very well be top lane focus.
Yeah, it's literally just a nope card. If you've ever played Exploding Kittens, that's exactly what the Hextech Ultimatum is. But I honestly feel like the main use of the Grand Starfall this game isn't going to be used for like catching out stragglers and looking for picks. It's probably going to just be used to try and alleviate pressure on the lanes, right? Like if Silas is going to dive a lane, boom, Pantheon arrives, right? If you try to look for an aggressive angle onto one of these side lanes, boom, Pantheon arrives and gets them out of danger. I feel like very rarely are we going to be seeing this Grand Starfall used to actually get a kill rather than prevent one from happening on the map. And that has to be Legacy Amber's main objective, right? When you have the scaling in your hands, when you've got things like Smolder, when you've got things like Vladimir, you literally just need to give them gold, time, and resources to get to those breakpoints and take over the map. And so if that requires giving over, 1, 2, maybe if you're feeling a little bit daring, 3 dragons, then honestly, so be it. Just make sure that your lane conditions are good. And I feel like Legacy Amber will have no problem scaling this game out of control from Akuma. And for Akuma, it's just about forcing that issue, right? Looking for aggressive plays at all times. If I don't see this Pantheon invaded in this game, Toki, I might freak out. I'm going to be honest with you. I might crash out live on broadcast.
All right, well, part of me hopes you do, because I would really like to see what that looks like.
It's
but
good content. Yes, I admit it. I admit it. Yes, I'll crash out like Emily Rand did when we were trying to curse KT a couple of days ago. Yep, I'll like go for like the suplex. You're not here IRL with me, so I can't suplex you, and I can't.
I'll get all the way over there just so we can see this live. Anything for the content.
Yep, I like it. All right. So it's the scaling game, basically, is what it chalks up to here for game number 2. And if Legacy Amber can get over that early game hurdle, 2-0, and honestly a clear path to first in their group, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. But we're gonna have to see if they are gonna be able to use this composition to its fullest extent, or whether Akuma can take us to a game number 3. We'll find out shortly after this break. right, and we are here with game number 1 as Fortnite and Bok Choy just gonna be I don't even know what to say. They're shaking hands. I think that's the best way to put this.
All right. What songs do you think they're dancing to? They got to listen to their own tune. So I think Fortnite is probably dancing to "Bird is the Word." You know.
Yeah.
I need the bird, bird, bird is the word. And then Bok Choy, probably like the Wednesday song, the Bloody Mary one or whatever.
I'll be honest, I never heard that song, but
This guy shows his age. He's not on TikTok. All right.
Yeah, no, I gotta say, well, when it comes to any talks about modern music, like besides Anxiety, I think the latest song I know is the one that was Anxiety was based off of, the Gautier song. So like, we're not gonna talk about my age because then I'll get sad, but let's get happy instead because we have Akuma Twinblades versus Legacy Amber game number 2, and we're already up onto the Rift. A little bit of trading happening across both sides, and fun matchup in the top lane. So I suspect this does go for Lost from Light until level 6, and then Baya Loves You starts winning out after.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Baya Loves You to get a lot of these extended trades onto the Ambessa, especially once she hits level 3. So, I mean, if anything, like levels 1 through 2 would be your moment as Camille to get like a couple of those grass procs off. You can see he hits level 2 first, immediately goes in with passive shield, and yeah, just gets a small chunk onto him.
Actually forces the flash. Wow. Really nice hook shot. I don't know if that was necessary. Level 2 was about to come through for Lost from Light as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't necessarily know if he needed to flash there, but we're going to see, I think, the pendulum swing the other way once level 3 is dinged here for the Ambessa. But the loss of flash also means that we can see Jerry X is pathing toward the top side. So if this wave does, maybe bounce back for the Ambessa, without flash, you could be leaving yourself in a really precarious situation.
Yeah, definitely. But we are going to be noticing as well, the junglers are actually going to be going to opposite sides right now. So Fiery going to be pathing towards that bottom side as Jerry X is pathing towards the top. I believe Fiery is slightly ahead in the clear right now in terms of HP, but should be pretty even timing, though I'm not sure either of these junglers do have an angle to go for in this first clear.
Yeah, right now we could see that there's like a wave stacking for Akuma's bot side. The Silas, a champion that really wants to get stuff done early, right? This is a character that is known for their proactivity, known for their early game aggression, and wanting to get the ball rolling as soon as possible. As speaking of that, Lost might be in a little trouble.
Yeah, level 3 is there, but actually trading quite well. First blood lost from Light, but Jerry X is going to be here, going to try and trade this back. No flash, nowhere to go, and Jerry X even going to use the flash himself. And that's going to be a trade 1-for-1, but well played by Lost from Light.
Don't think the flash was necessary there from Jerry X. Gonna be honest with you, that Ambessa was dead to rights, but a kill secured 1-for-1, and now Bok Choy maybe in a little bit of trouble, has to pop the ghost.
Yeah, just gonna run away as fast as possible. Actually gonna bait a little bit towards Fiery. And now the shield vault is gonna be there. Fiery taking a decent amount of damage, but they could definitely still look to trade. And luckily, the wall is gonna be there. But they're both low, but they're both going to survive. And I believe Fortnite still has the egg. So even underneath the turret, will definitely be fine.
This is the game of extremely awkward flashes. We've had 3 so far that don't need to be used when they were used. And yet, it's been happening as like a consistent factor in this game. So yeah, Lost from Light just with a beautiful solo kill there. The grasp really making the difference and delivering him onto a silver platter. And then Jerry X just, I mean, he was dead, right? He had like no energy. He had no flash. There was no way for the Ambessa to get out. So I wish I could say that was like
it's a tempo play.
It's a tempo play, but it's also like a not necessary flash.
Well, Jerry X definitely still seems to be happy for now. We'll see if missing that flash is going to end up making a difference later on, as Fortnite and Bok Choy continuing to trade very, very heavily in this mid lane, both starting to just kind of sit there at almost no HP. But Fortnite's already come back to lane with a TP. So the fact that he's down and actually going to be procced into egg form, I don't think Bok Choy has enough DPS to finish off this kill. So looks like ultimately nothing's going to end up going either way.
And you can see this wave is pushing in. It's probably going to be the best that Fortnite can do at this point. Like, he's trying to get this wave shoved in and go for a reset. He's going to overstay his welcome with no mana. So
one more auto. No, going to be going into the Sanguine pool, but now Jerry X is in the area, but so is Fiery, just covering for this Anivia, just trying to keep Bok Choy alive. And all things considered, though, if we look at the actual numbers, the CS advantage for Bok Choy is massive right now in the mid lane.
Oh, lost some light. Going for the public execution. I think he anticipated Bai would a step up instead of step back there, but he guesses wrong and now won't have that against the... Okay, Fortnite just got a solo kill onto Bok Choy.
I mean, I think at that point, that was just inevitable. I mean, they were both sitting at such low HP for a while, and unfortunately, Bok Choy's not the one with the reason, but Daniel, perfect pull into the head, but incredibly well played. It's still going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but Places Stalbo actually going to try and make it more, but the barriers coming through from both the carries. Radagon still playing forward. One more turn shot will get the kill. Places Stalbo 1-0-1 in this bot lane.
And he misses the cannon. All right, worth at the end of the day, but just a little bit sad that he wasn't able to secure that minion. Honestly, a big overstep there from Radagon. Your support manages to save you, gives you that extra shield power to keep you alive from that tower shot. And he just goes for the kill, but he just slightly steps into tower range in order to do so. So this kind of goes back to what we were saying the win con was here for Legacy Amber. So far, we're at a pace of less than a kill a minute.
Starting to get pretty aggressive as well. Hextech ultimatum just gonna go back, and Fiery just getting a one-shot by Jerry X.
All right, I said we were at less than a kill a minute. That's a lie. We have 7 kills in 7 minutes. 2 of those for Legacy Amber being on Jerry X. So really, looking at this Pantheon, we talk about the scaling win condition for a majority of the Legacy Amber players, but I feel like that's not true only for the Pantheon. He has to be that bridge, and so him getting these resources early, I feel like is the best possible scenario for him eventually being able to lock down all of these kills for his late game carries, who have already started in their own right to get resources this game. Toki, we could see Places Stalbo got that kill on the failed dive. I Loves You is keeping up in CS with Lost from Light, and mid lane has that CS advantage that you mentioned a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, and they're just going to be able to at least get the safe farm onto Places Stalbo's Bok Choy. Gonna get jumped on again, is in the wall, but Sanguine Pool gonna be able to buy enough time with the extra healing from Hemoplague, so we'll be okay. And it looks like we had a very slow first couple minutes in game number 1, but it looks like the pace that we had in the second half is just going to be immediately walking through to this next. As now Grand Starfall over the top. Fortnite will not have the egg. Gonna be going down, and Bok Choy gets his first of the game.
Yup, good Grand Starfall there from Jerry, and Fortnite just a little too far up without the flash means that he is easy pickings for Legacy Amber. Now Fiery gonna have to protect this wave, which means that he surrenders control of the grubs. He has Prio in the top side, and with how low Bok Choy is, I don't think Legacy Amber would get numbers advantage. It's the Prio that really makes the difference, but it might only make the difference for a little bit. As
he's the bot side.
He's gonna have to run. He doesn't have flash. He might give his life for this.
Yeah, but now in the bot side, it has been 1-for-1, but the fight in the top starting to come through. Public execution lands onto the back line, and Jerry X just getting shut down immediately. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-for-1 trade cross map for Akuma.
Yeah, there was action on the bot side as well. Akuma managed to snag away this last grub. A good punishment there, acknowledging that the Vladimir really isn't able to join up at those grubs. As we do see a replay on the bot side. So double knock up here. It looks good, but I feel like it's just a stat check at this point, right? Like Radagon is a Zeri. You're a Smolder. A Smolder is not strong in the early game, so naturally, a Smolder goes bye-bye.
Yep, and unfortunately, that's exactly how it did go down. Still trying to get those stacks. Eventually will become a huge threat, but we talked about Places Stalbo being one of those hyperscalers in the late game, but so is Radagon. This there's gonna really scale up, and now in the mid lane, that's where the next fight's coming through. Hemoplague gonna be down onto Fortnite, but again, with the Glacial Storm buying enough space, should be okay. But now they're trading onto Melania, but no kill pressure onto either of these members.
Fortnite's just trying to shove in this wave. We could see that AKM are in the vicinity trying to help him with that, but Legacy Amber sniffed that out and are just shoving the wave themselves. So I think this is going to lead to Fortnite kind of forced to reset, or at the very least play under his tower, which could give LA the priority to go for this dragon, essentially uncontested, and give them the first 2 objectives of the game.
Yeah, and with these 2 objectives, they will put them in a really nice spot. They just need one more in order to get themselves the feats of monster slaying. And right now, they're just going to be zoning them away. Fire even going to get pushed off with Valdanio. That's now heavy trading on the top side as well. Lost from light. Really taking by Loves You super low. No public execution available yet, but not gonna be needed. The Sundering Slam. Gonna be able to get that kill. That's a massive wave lost as well.
Yup. So now we could see.
Oh, we gotta see the Grand Starfall. That's what we're gonna see. And Radagon gonna use the Lightning Crash. Gonna try and peel back. As Valdanio flashing him forward instead. Unbreakable Will is going to be there, but Radagon has a ton of move speed. Just needs a couple more hits. Just needs them to bounce back, but it's not going to be enough. Places Stalbo. Going to be the one to secure the kill anyway as Radagon oversteps.
Radagon gets lost in the sauce, and unfortunately, it's what drowns him. Legacy Amber find the moment. The stun from Jerry X lands. And the Zeri, who was poised to get possibly a triple kill in that exchange Toki, ends up empty-handed as another kill given over to LA here. Bok Choy does lose a couple of minions for that roam, as we actually did get a solo kill on the top side. As we're going to get another look here on the bot side. Okay, so Grand Starfall goes down. I feel like the target selection was a little bit off here. Jerry X W's Melania, but then immediately switches to Radagon. I feel like if he had W'd Radagon, you force that flash out immediately and probably prevent this aggressive notion from the Zeri to overstep, which, I mean, I guess in a manner of speaking, that flash is what ended up getting you a kill. So congratulations, Jerry X. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Drake's smartest players now by I Loves You gonna be getting jumped on right now. Is Fiery gonna be in the Hextech Ultimatum, but now two Hextech Ultimatums over top. Lost from Light gonna be the one to get the kill first. Jerry X is gonna trade it back. Now it's gonna be top lane versus jungle, but Melania is here first. Valdanio is on his way, but is a little bit further back. Jerry X trying to survive as long as possible. Will be able to heal back a bit and actually survives. And there is the mad cow disease with a spear over top. Jerry X going to be able to get the kill. Trample stun as well, but I think Jerry X wisely deciding not to continue this trade.
And the alley-oop headbutt there from Valdanio. What a gamer play from the Alistar. It ends up getting another kill over to the Pantheon. Now 4-1-2, by the way. This guy really strong on the map currently, and I feel like this is exactly what we talked about in the draft, Toki. We said that this Pantheon needs to be the bridge for his late game carries, right? And so far, he is getting all the resources. He is making proactive plays with them. It's only a matter of time before the other Legacy Amber members catch up. He doesn't really have to do much except just be present on the map here.
Yeah, and that's more than enough in these situations. And right now, after everything's said and done, because we've had just non-stop action.
Pretty much.
It's basically we've got in, but gold is completely even right now. And the only difference is where is that gold? Because a lot of it is going to be on Lost from Light on the top side for the side of Akuma. And for Legacy Amber, it's going to be onto Jerry X. But down in the mid lane, Valdanio got to pop that Unbreakable Will, but with the Anivia wall, going to be able... going to be forced to use the flashes. Now Bok Choy with a Hemo play, going to get it on a 2 headbutt pulverize. But do they have the damage? Jerry X now in the area, but... it's just going to push them aside.
Yeah, Bok Choy, empowered Q, redemption, and ult basically brings him back to full HP. That's just the Vladimir way. As no kills to be had. Good there for Legacy Amber because, again, they just continue to scale on up. We can see that gold difference between the mid laners is really starting to pile. Not only does Bok Choy have that kill, so he's tied in KD with the Anivia, but he also has like a 30 CS lead up over the Anivia as well. He's really setting himself up to be a big threat here in this game. Same can't be said for the bot and AD carry, though, which do favor Akuma. Probably the reason why this gold lead from LA is so close.
Yeah, but now Flash Frost actually going to be in a good spot, but unfortunately the Crystallize not going to be placed perfectly there. As we can even take a look at that gold lead / deficit, because right now Radagon going to be up to 300 gold over in the bot lane. Not a massive lead quite yet, but definitely
2,000 from top lane.
Yeah, and I think that's really what says it all. Small leads across the map for Legacy Amber, except in the top lane. Now Bok Choy, again, just going to be able to run it out with the Phase Rush. So pretty easy trading, just attacking the mana bar of Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite running low on that mana means that he can't really
Melania gonna be the target, but again, with the root gonna be okay. I keep interrupting you for nothing. Go ahead, Quack.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, Herald actually, with that aggressive play, it forced Fiery to break off from the Herald, which means they can't transition it into pressure onto the bot side river with this dragon coming up in about 10 seconds. So Legacy Amber, if they want to, could fight for this dragon, but like we said in draft, we warned against them overplaying their hand when they don't need to. This would only be the first Drake for Akuma, so giving over these resources when you're not in the best of positions to contest them is okay, because you have that safety net of scaling to rely on when the later dragons do end up spawning.
Yeah, but this is going to be first turret of the game and the feats of strength going over to Akuma. So they did lose game number 1, but right now they're in a pretty solid position. It's definitely not super one-sided yet, only a 1k gold lead, but they do have the feats, they do have the lead overall. And I think considering they have the Silas and Nivea and Zeri, they're not too worried to scale this into the late game. Now it's going to be scary into the Vladimir Smolder as well, but they're definitely going to be competitive.
This game, Akuma do have the scaling, right? Obviously, they've got the Nivea and the Zeri, like you said, is Fiery.
Oh, Fiery, you cannot be going in there. It is going to be Waldanic, who actually pops the Unbreakable Will, but with the stolen Unbreakable Will, Fiery actually going to continue playing forward. Going to be using the Abduct as instead. They're going to turn their attention on Fortnite. They've been trading in the mid lane, and Fortnite going to be the first to go down. Jerry X with the comments, we're going to be able to secure that kill. And now Fiery going back in. The Unbreakable Will is over, but in the backline, public execution headbutt. Going to keep them safe. Radagon coming in from behind with the lightning crash, just trying to auto attack. As now they turn their attention onto this area. They're just getting pincered from both sides. Blaze of Selma just trying to attack whoever is nearby. And Radagon going to be able to trade for one, but on the opposite side, it will be the other way. As Lost from Light not going to be in range of the Common Spear, but Shield Vault with the next spear gonna be enough. And it's an even trade, all things said and done.
I thought Bok Choy might have died to the tower there, but Legacy Amber win the 4v5. Toki on the bot side in the enemy jungle. They are in enemy territory, and they show up. It's massive gold over to the Pantheon. It's massive gold over to all the scaling members of Legacy Ambers. Let's take another look at how this fight started. So Bok Choy goes for the trading. This is kind of the irrelevant stuff. What really goes down is on that bot side. Fiery forced to pop the Unbreakable Will early, and we can already see everyone rotating to the top side. Fiery wants to keep looking. Fortnite really overplays his hand. He steps up too far. I think he might have thought that he had the space to be created, but he ends up going down, popping the egg as well. And then Fiery just goes back in. They don't know when to quit. The health bars are already low, so by the time Lost from Light does get in, your jungler is too low, your top lane or your support is too low, your AD carry is completely alone. And it felt like this was a really disjointed fight coming out from Akuma. They went one by one, and they fell one by one.
Yeah, it gave them a nice pincer to start, but unfortunately, apes together strong. So Legacy Amber just going to be able to take that fight up for themselves because they stayed grouped. And I genuinely think that's what made the big difference.
Yep, I agree. Akuma falling divided. LA standing united. As we do see the game continuing as a lot of...
Open in the top side by Loves You is going to be jumped on. Hextech Ultimatum going to be stolen away as well. And Fire just going to be able to get that pick on the top side.
Yeah, and he has the Herald as well, so he'll be creating a ton of pressure over there. We can see that Jerry X is trying to look for a kill onto Fortnite, who is forced to use the flash defensively, but they're going to lose a tower for their efforts. There's no Grand Starfall to interrupt this push. It was used in the mid lane, and so now it's a 2v2 challenge here from Akuma and LA around the Otacon.
Yeah, but will they be able to trade this back? Lost from Light is going to be alone here, but Fiery actually just gonna be living. We'll take the fruit as now Radagon gets a solo kill on the bot side, but Lost from Light just gonna get speared down by Jerry X.
Yeah, the Black.
Oh, TP on the bot side though. Bio Loves You. It looks like they're trying to crash down onto Radagon, but with the dash through the wall says, "See you later, nerds. I'm gonna be okay."
Call this guy Tony Hawk, the way he be skating. Radagon gets out. There's a peace symbol over the wall while he's at it. Or maybe a finger that I can't say on broadcast. That would just be the ultimate gamer move. As Otacon going to be spawning here on the top side. Both teams pinging around this area. Those tier 1s both taken as well, which means that these teams have a lot of potential to just push up this vision line if one member steps out of place. It also leaves a lot of pick potential to be had by both of these teams, and we've seen how important that is in this game. But screw all of that. LA are just starting up the Otacon.
Yeah, this is our favorite thing as casters. This is our favorite thing as analysts. Is now firing.
Nah.
Gonna get hit into the Otacon all alone here into 5. Does steal away the Unbreakable. There is the Inspire from Melania, so we'll be able to get away, but he will play on to 3. Headbutt Pulverized as well. And Melania going to be the first to go down as Fiery trying to fight, but the Unbreakable makes you tankier, does not make you stronger. It is a 2-4-0 so far. It's now Fortnite trying to survive. Radagon is going to use the Lightning Crash. While Daniel going to be going down onto the back line. But now Radagon is going to be the next one targeted up. Lost from Light, buying a lot of space though. And they're trying to trade back, but they just don't have the damage. And now they're pincering the other way. Fortnite going to be in the egg farm. Will get taken down. And another snipe coming out of Radagon. Lost from Light going to be finished off here. And everything said and done, it's a 3-4-2 in favor of Legacy Amber.
That's a massive fight there for Legacy Amber. Even though they barely went out on the fight, even if they lost the fight and got some of those kills in return, I still feel like it's good for them because this team is scaling up. They've got the dragons, the Otacon is still standing, and they're able to get push in mid and top along with those resources, so they'll get back onto the map a little bit stronger. AKM will do the same, particularly Radagon really starting to get fed on this series. 6-3-2, getting closer and closer to that third item. But now it's not just the Otacon that's on the board, it is the Dragon, and it's Soul Point for LA. This would be huge with the scaling win con they already have.
Yeah, now the next fight is going to be coming through, and Grand Starfall going to be coming out as well, but they're not going to be able to find anyone. TP in the backline though, and that might be their target. Lost from Light, all alone. Headbutt Pulverized, Trample as well. Does have a billion dashes though, and actually is able to get away. And now the stolen Hemoplague Fire are going to be able to heal back up a decent amount of that HP, but with the health bars being so low on Akuma, looks like third Dragon of the game going to be going over to Legacy Amber as well.
Yeah, Lost from Light, TPing in there, doesn't die, but is basically good as dead. He can't participate in the fight, and so AKM don't have a numbers advantage, and not to mention Fiery already had to use the stolen ultimate, so he is going to be down an R button as Bai just goes in with the hook shot blind.
Gonna be in a bad spot. Mom goes out over top, but it's not gonna be enough. Melania gonna be the one to secure the kill. Headbutt Pulverized though, and now with the rocket belt, Bok Choy trying to get in, but they're just being zoned away. The Anivia in these choke points just too strong, and the abduct does land. Plus this Stalbo has to go out over the wall, and everyone's so low as public execution in the backline might be enough. We'll take down 2, we'll take down 3, we'll get traded back by Bok Choy as the turret also will take down Melania somehow, and it's a 4-4-2 cross map.
And AKM got a run for the Otacon. Bye I Loves You is coming up in 10 seconds. It felt like a massive, massive overplay there from LA. You get the Dragon, you surrender your top side, but you're not surrendering the Otacon. AKM have no angle to actually go for that objective. So I feel like them base checking into that territory without the numbers necessary to actually fight for it was a massive blunder. But nothing comes of it. AKM don't go for the Otacon, which I think is honestly the better move. Now Bok Choy is looking for a solo kill.
They're still looking to trade the Flash Frost. Not going to be able to land. But again, the Glacier Storm just buying so much space. But Bai Loves You is here. And Bok Choy just going to be able to get that kill with Tides of Blood.
Yep, and Bok Choy staying on the map with his team has the innate healing, so is perfectly okay sticking around with his team. Especially without that teleport, you really want to make sure that those numbers are in your favor. Otacon up now, and Fortnite down for another 30 seconds. Legacy Amber are going to move toward it, but the health bars are very healthy on the side of Akuma, so if they want to try and fight it, that option is still there. The Otacon is chunking down those health bars ever so slightly.
Yeah, and their cash cow Lost from Light is still up. Most of their gold is on that.
Real
they're going to look to turn for the fight instead. And now in the backline, they have found Radagon with the crashdown, trying to find something, but it's not going to be there. As now instead, Valdanio just holding everyone back. Lost from Light still alive, but that's not enough right now. And with the trample, going to be able to get the stun as Bai Loves You. Hook shots in, might have gone a little bit too far. Public execution going to be able to find Bai Loves You, and that's going to be the kill.
They're too low.
Can they get the Otacon though? They're too low, and the Otacon is too healthy. They might just have to back away, but Hemoplague in the backline going to be coming through. Bok Choy still looking for an angle in, but right now it's just not being found as the Otacon just continuing to poke away and places Stalbo and Jerry X.
Legacy Amber, they look a little too far. They try to go for continued kills onto Lost from Light. They don't pivot onto the Otacon. Even after they get fiery, they look for more. Their greed overcomes them, and their greed costs them their next objective. AKM going to be able to respawn, get back onto the map. Legacy going to do the same. So we're right back to square one here, Toki, but the difference is the items, the stacking, the scaling is starting to really come online for Legacy Amber.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think the biggest one, once again, is going to be Bok Choy in that mid lane. 10.5k gold, 5, 1, and 8 on the Vladimir. We talked about Jerry X on this Pantheon. Super strong in the early game, does fall off, but he needs to be that bridge. And I think at this point, he definitely has been. Bok Choy's in the game. Plays the Stalbo, should be very close, probably way above, actually, that 225 mark. Though they have the execution as well. 217, actually. A little bit slow, but he will have it for this next fight.
Yeah, so he will have the execute. That is a massive breakpoint for the Smolder. But forget everything that you've seen so far. This champion getting behind, getting solo killed by the Zeri does not matter. Now the real stuff comes through as Lost from Light is invincible for some reason. Every single kick that Vi delivers onto him.
Well, they found Fortnite.
Okay,
and Fortnite just gonna be taken down here.
Time. All right, there he goes. Now it's time to escape.
Yeah, Bok Choy trying to get away. Mission impossible. All alone. Their Daniel is on the way. And now they have the grand entrance as well. And now it's just going to be the entire team here. Mom has been called out as well. And now the stacks are here. Places Talbot dealing a ton of damage. Shield ball on a Radagon. Lost from Light. Gonna get burned down as well. And they have scaled.
And the baby dragon has woken up. The Camille has got herself a nice pair of kicks. And the Vladimir is drinking good. As all the members of Legacy Amber have scaled on up, they will get the Otacon for their rewards, and the Baron will follow as we get a replay here. I loves you. Look at the damage he's doing onto Lost from Light. It's just absolutely insane. It's not insane because the numbers are high. It's because the numbers are non-existent, but that's not the important part. Fortnite goes down, has to go into egg form, and then it's a race against the clock. Bok Choy chunks out the Anivia, manages to kill him at the very last second, and then look at the healing and the time bot here from the Vladimir. Goes into the pool, heals on up, redemption is delivered, and then the entire team delivers. He gets back to half HP, and they're all here to pick off the scattering members of Akuma. The time was enough to be bought. The rest of the members arrive, and all of the scaling is in their favor. It's not just a Baron, it's not just an Otacon, but now it might just be a soul at the same time.
Yeah, and this is a huge power spike for Legacy Amber, and they definitely have the composition that scales incredibly well into the late game. And they're actually going to look for the steal. Fiery gets it, will go down, but the soul will get removed from Legacy Amber, at least for now.
Oh, that's worth it every day of the week and every week of the year. They stall it out for just 5 more minutes, but Legacy Amber, they're still 5 members strong with the Baron buff. What can they do while they're wearing the purple? That is the question. The tier 1 mid is still standing. The tier 1 bot is still standing. If you can knock down these structures, extend that vision line, you significantly reduce the chances of another Dragon Steal happening.
Yeah, and now the unfortunate thing is you do prevent the soul going over to Legacy Amber, but you don't get the soul yourself. You don't really get a massive upgrade at all, and instead, you're going to get dove through the mid lane. Bok Choy just running in. Fortnite will get flashed on. Jerry X going to be able to get that kill, as now Bok Choy just continuing into the backline. Radagon going to be in a bad spot. Lane Crash is going to get used as public execution, and now the gold is here. Lost from Light gets 2. Going to be looking for a third as well. Daniel, it's a triple kill for Lost from Light.
Legacy Amber need to calm down, okay? They are really overextending. They are really overplaying their hand. This is like the 3rd time they've done it. Jerry X will use the Empowered Blast Cones to get on out, and Bai will use the Empowered Recall to escape as well. So 2 members still survive with that Baron buff, but it should be 5, Toki. At the end of the day, you siege the tower, you look down toward the bot side, you continue to constrict AKM's ability to get these deep wards and this vision down, and you choke them out. They are just looking, instead of a slow choke, they are just looking for a quick stab to the heart. But unfortunately, AKM, these boys are wearing armor.
Yeah, now Melania might be in a bad spot. As I say that, it's going to be
Right?
my Luzdu that's completely set around.
Bruh.
And Radagon going to be able to get that kill. It's a 4 versus 1.
All right. I don't want to jinx it, but they're kind of throwing, Toki.
I mean, I agree with you right now. And look, Daniel going to be caught out
God.
as well. Unbreakable Will is there. They will be able to buy a little bit of time. Places Stalbo still trying to throw out those Super Scorcher breaths. And Daniel will survive. But it's definitely starting to get scary. Akuma, like we said, they're not that far behind. They're 1.5K gold. That is nothing at this stage in the game. So
and they've significantly closed the gap, by the way. It was way worse just like 2 to 3 minutes ago. Now it's 1 to 2K. And they've all reset with their gold. And like we said, you know, a little bit ago, the Legacy Amber scaling is really good, but the Akuma side of it, the scaling for them, is nothing to laugh at either, right? You've got 10 stacks of Roa on the Anivia. The Silas has 3 items. The Ambessa's 11 and 6 for crying out loud. And the Zeri is practically full build. These are not champions that you can let your guard down on. And I feel like Legacy Amber are just happy gaming a little too much. They could change that in a little less than 2 minutes when the dragon comes up, but AKM are significantly more situated to fight for this objective than they were the last time around when it had to be a steal from Fiery.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that right now, Lost from Light is just so much further ahead of Bai Loves You as well. I mean, 3 items plus boots, whereas Lost from Light, 4.5 items plus boots, which are the upgraded ones as well. So right now, Lost from Light is gonna be a massive win con for them, at least in that early game. As now over towards that top side, Fortnite gonna try pushing this in again. And my question to you is, where do you think this next fight comes through? And what do you think Akuma need to do to get back into this game, if they need to do anything proactive?
Oh, they're in this game. I just feel like now it has to come down to getting yourself priority for these lanes, right? We can see that Akuma are mostly focused around the top and mid lane. Bai might be overextending. Bai is overextending. He hookshot it in. He's just dead, by the way.
Yeah, completely alone. They will flash forward. The abduct is gonna be
there.
What
is he doing?
Taking us to a game 3 potentially. We'll see how the rest of the Amber are able to pick up the slack, because Bai Loves You definitely not been having a great game. 0-8-11 right now, maybe overplaying the steps, but they do have places Stalbo here. They have Jerry X and Box Choi. So unfortunately, Akuma, they get the kill, but they can't get anything else after.
No, I mean, Akuma, though, are more than happy with that kill. Bai Loves You going to be down for a good while means that Akuma will have numbers advantage to regain control of this bot side river. You can already see that shove, or that push rather, from Radagon and Melania gives them the ability to run down toward that river. Valdanio really wants to look for some kind of an angle, but he doesn't want to overplay his hand. You don't have vision. You don't want to face check. You've done that so many times in this game as a team, and it has cost you potentially the game if you're not able to win this fight. I feel like that's what it comes down to, is Bok Choi is really just going forward without a care in the world.
Yeah, but Mom gonna get brought out, and it is just gonna be the second dragon of the game going over to Akuma. And now instead, over on the back line, they found Lost from Light. Lost from Light is alone, and Radagon gets taken out on the other side of the fight as well. But Lost from Light is still alive, trying to fight 1v3, and with the dash is buying so much space, still alive, takes down Jerry X, and now the stolen bomb gonna be going out over the back line, and Lost from Light just continuing to play aggro, plays Stalbo, the final survivor, and it's an ace for Akuma.
And call Legacy Amber vampires, because they're afraid of the light. Lost from Light is immortal in this game on this Ambessa. 14 and 6, and an ace for Akuma will spell the doom of LA. And in the most unexpected twist, we are going to game 3.
And that fight looked so good for Akuma to start, or sorry, for Legacy Amber. Because they had so many members on Lost from Light. They found Lost from Light before the fight started. They got Radagon out immediately. Jerry X able to solo kill that. And then after that, it just didn't matter. Lost from Light just unkillable, untouchable, and gonna be the winner to take us to game 3.
Legacy Amber, the game was theirs to lose. You have to believe they found themselves in such a winning position. They basically had Soul, Baron, and Otacon at one point, and were in such a good posture to just run over the game and take the clean 2-0, but they tower dive the base of Akuma Twinblades. They find themselves way too far up without flashes, and they get punished for it, Toki. If there was one word or one phrase I could use to describe this game, it would be calm down. Calm down. Chill out. Whatever you want to use, because if they had just played the game slow, like they had done for the previous 20 minutes, by the way, while they waited for the Smolder stack, while they waited for the Vladimir breakpoint, while they waited for the Camille item spike, if they had just continued that attitude for a couple more minutes, we would be out of here. I would be eating my jersey mics. You would be doing whatever, and we would all be having a good night, with the exception of the Akuma Twinblades players who got 0-2'd. But now a real legitimate chance at a reverse sweep lies in front of them, and it is theirs for the taking.
Well, I'm just glad we hyped up this matchup before heading into the day. We hyped up this matchup at the start of the day, and it has delivered. So now with that, we are going to be going to a break, but when we come back, we're going to have the third deciding match for potentially the winner of Group A. But first, going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we'll get right into the action, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
You do like you do like crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy, crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, 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 you do like crazy, oh crazy, oh
All right, and we are back with the third and final game between Legacy Amber and Akuma Twinblades, and I think Legacy could have won that second game as well, so I'm wondering, how is this one gonna go?
How's the mental for Legacy as well? That has to be such a tilting position to lose from that, honestly, like, I would be tilted as well if that had happened to me. So I'm kind of wondering what not only are we going to be seeing from the draft going to game number 3, but what the players are going to be thinking internally about even needing to be in this game, right? Because like we said so many times in game number 2, Legacy Amber had that one on lock, right? Like they had the Baron, they had the Otacon, they basically had the Soul. It got stolen, but they could have just taken the next one a few minutes later and held on to the position that they were already in. But they went for fights, they went too deep, and they gave over crucial gold to AKM. So going into game number 3, with all of these Fearless bans taken away, I do wonder now with Legacy on blue side what we will be seeing. Orianna is still up, by the way, and I feel like we have a bunch of ball deliverers that are still really viable, so I wouldn't hate like an Orianna B1, especially with champions like Ambessa being taken off the board. I feel like Ori might be your best bet.
Yeah, and like you said, there's still a lot of combo champs with that. The J4 is still available, the Wukong is still available. I mean, those are probably the two most common pairs we've seen, but even from the support role, it's been a lot of these kind of not full send tanks besides the Alisher and Rel, but they still have the Nautilus if they want to go that way. They still have the Leona. Like you said, they have options. So I actually would love to see an Orianna, frankly, on either of these two teams.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what these mysterious picks.
Yeah,
Hey,
good call.
There's the Orianna
With the
Wukong. There we go. One of the few ball deliverers that are still open and available, like you said, Toki, going to be delivered here in game number 3. Sion being picked up. I mean, you don't have a lot of pen right now, so I think Gwen, I was going to shout out, got changed a little bit to be more of a glass cannon, pure tank killer with not a lot of tanky stats herself in this most recent patch. So do have to be very careful about the trading because your HP bar is not as forgiving as it once was. As Elise locked in here for Akuma on 3. Could go into the support role, could go into the jungle role, though. Elise plus Tristana does make for a very, very aggressive combo.
Yeah, but I want to say that they're probably going to be keeping this as a flex pick, because if they send it straight to support, because right now they haven't shown anything in their bot lane right now for Legacy Amber.
Yeah.
So they could very well just kind of pick around that instead. But if Fiery is able to play it, if Malenia is able to play it, then they can kind of flex that. I think it will be useful no matter what, because like you said, they have that Tristana. But I'll be honest, my main focus right now is I am a little bit worried for Bye I Love You, because Sion into Gwen is quite strong until 2 to 3 items, and at that point Sion's already big enough, he doesn't care about the lane anymore. He's just playing team fights.
Yeah, that's kind of, I feel like this has become a lot more of a skill matchup than people would have you believe now at this point. Obviously, Gwen has always been good into tanks, but that's only after, like you said, Toki, they get some items under their belt. Sion is, with that grass plus that soul furnace, one of the best early game traders in the game, right alongside his tank kin Ornn, I would say, which I would also put up there. As we're going to wait to see what these picks are. The first one to be revealed is going to be the Aatrox. So is it a Sion mid into?
I think so.
I think that would be a good solution to circumventing your worries about this matchup, Toki. Just don't send the Sion into the top lane. Put him in mid and have him build D-Shield, go all of these magic resist items, and try to get as much shove as you possibly can. So that probably means if this is in fact the Sion mid, you're going to be looking at a lot of cryo and a lot of safety for Jerry X on this Wukong to get that level 6 power spike, because it'll be difficult for the Elise and the rest of AKM to actually invade you because they won't have that priority.
And I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think we've even seen Fortnite play the Sion mid in the past. Orianna, one of those champions that doesn't deal a lot of damage early. She definitely needs some items. She has decent amount of DPS, but in terms of the burst, in terms of just being able to fully threaten onto the Sion, that's just not a thing. But we are going to be seeing our final pick. It's going to be Elise in the jungle, Lulu in support, so definitely a little bit of threatening possibility coming out from Akuma in the bot lane, but Braum at the same time should be able to mitigate a decent chunk of that too.
I do have a lot of worries about this AKM comp, to be honest with you. Like, this is like a comp that is very like gung-ho on the dive. Like, you need to be going like full in force every time you look for an engage. There's very little disengage on this team. Really what you're looking for disengage is like a Lulu ultimate and a Tristana buster shot, but those are our keys. You want to be using those for fights instead of to get away from skirmishes. So I do think that the idea here is that Legacy Amber have the scaling advantage, right? We've talked a lot about this in the series where the team that has just the better late game advantage usually can control the match and control the map subsequently. So you've got the Gwen, you've got the Wukong, you've got the Kai'Sa. For me, it's really about getting that wombo combo down, right? And grouping up. Unlike last game where we wanted to see these guys just on side lanes constantly and be as apart from each other for as long as possible, this game, they should be together from 14 minutes onward, never leaving each other's side. This should be like the Losers Club from It. They always got to be in scenes together, fighting Pennywise. That being, who's Pennywise on AKM? Who's the scary clown that could kill them all? I would say it's probably Lost from Light. I feel like the Aatrox has to be the main one. Yeah, or Radagon. I mean, Radagon did have a really good performance on Zeri last game. So this man clearly has shown that when you give him the ball, he can deliver a slam dunk. And that's what Akuma are going to have to do this game. You've got an engage comp with an engage ADC. Your best bet is to inject as much gold into her as possible so that when you execute as a team, you don't have to worry about your Tristana immediately blowing up.
Yeah, well, let's see coming up soon whether Akuma is going to be able to put the ball into Radagon's court, or whether Bok Choy is going to put his ball into their court and on the Orianna just take the team fights himself. But unfortunately for now, we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be heading for this third and final match. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Game 1 goes to Legacy Amber. Game 2 goes to Akuma Twinblades. And Game 3 is what we have now, where winner takes all and very possibly ends up being first place over in Squad A. And with that, Quacks, who do you think is going to be able to take this matchup? Who do you favor here?
I mean, we oftentimes love to, and especially in these game threes, talk about, ease of execution. Which comp is easier to execute on, more linear and doesn't have as many variables attached to them. And I feel like we have to be looking at Legacy Amber for this, right? You've got your classic ball delivery system with the Braum and with the Wukong. You've got the scaling elements. You've got your damage dealers in the Gwen and the Kaisa. So this is a very stock standard draft coming out here from Legacy Amber. These champions you've seen, 1,000 times before. So I honestly would favor them in this game. Akuma have a lot more difficulties that they have to overcome, a lot more hurdles that they have to leap over in order to get into the same position that Legacy Amber could easily find themselves in. Most notably, I'm looking at this Elise, right? We talked about it in game number 2, but that Silas was incredibly volatile to get ahead early and make sure that they were getting that snowball in as early as possible. And Fiery wasn't really able to get a lot of gold on that pick. They still won the game, and he still had his moments because there was an Alistar on the enemy team. But this champion is not as forgiving. You don't get an ultimate to fall back on. You just turn into a spider and cry yourself to sleep with your 8 legs and walk into a corner with your 8 legs.
Yeah, and I think that is a very strong point because, I mean, Jerry X, without a doubt in that second game, was controlling the jungle matchup. The Pantheon was incredibly clean, had priority in every single lane, just consistently finding and making plays for himself and for the rest of the team. But now Fiery's the one that, especially on the Elise, kind of has to make that happen. And the one advantage he has is he's not as reliant on level 6 as the Wukong is for Jerry X, but
yeah,
can he find the play early? Because right now I don't even know which lane he would go for.
He's reliant on kill gold, right? Like, this is a champion that just has to get stuff done early. And so we do see that Fiery, instead of going for a traditional full clear, he's actually going to path up and clear his top side, reset to get the Dark Seal, and then we'll be pathing down with the remaining camps that he has left. So already just wanting to get that item advantage over the Wukong in case there is a contest on the Crab, which there won't be. You can see that Jerry is finishing up his full clear on the top side. So already this Elise running on empty, trying to get stuff done, trying to prepare for a fight that will never come.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a little bit unfortunate there in the jungle, but is actually still clearing very fast, though, compared to Jerry X. They're at around the exact same rate, but with the extra Dark Seal, that will help Fiery a bit, as now both the junglers are starting to group towards the mid lane. Bokchoy and Fortnite both super low, but Fiery is going to be here first. But can he actually make the play? He is looking towards Jerry X, just a little bit trading back and forth, and actually flashes forward. First blood going to be going over to Fiery, and now they're going to continue. Jerry X, now at half HP, will be forced to flash as well. Fiery, got to be looking for it, will die forward, will get the kill, will trade it back, but Fiery feeling good.
I still feel like that's worth it every day of the week for Fiery. Manages to get to, finds his moment, and finds his fight on the Elise. That'll get him his blasting one and will get him a massive item advantage over the Wukong, who himself did pick up a kill. But it is just the Elise who managed to pick up one more. As we do see on the replay, Bokchoy just stepping up a little too far. Fiery flash cues and secures that one. And I thought maybe he had repel here, but no, he was just going for the kill. He did not care.
Yeah, who needs to repel? It's a one-way trip, but getting that kill is actually massive because I think overall, if you accelerate with the Wukong, you are so happy with that as the Elise, because compared to everyone else on the map, you are much further accelerated. You're going to be able to burst down people super fast and super efficiently, and maybe that's the hope that Fiery has. This is what the start we wanted for him.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And now, just returning to his camps, has that electrocute as well. So on top of the damage that he already has from the blasting one and the Dark Seal, his Keystone really helps out in that burst that you were talking about too, Toki. So now I feel like is the moment where, it's difficult for Bokchoy to get shoved in the lane. You've got Prio. Look at what Fiery is doing. He's making use of that push in mid, making use of that push in top, and he is invading Jerry at his jungle, or maybe looking for a tower dive.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Elise is good at with the repel. could definitely look. And now the wave is going to crash in. No level 6 on Bok
Has
Choy. She
flash.
can't clear the wave.
Nope.
Cocoon is going to land. And that is, they do get the flash actually, but they also get the kill.
That was a really ugly flash from Bok Choy. That just was not necessary, in my opinion, but he ends up going down. It's a third for Fiery, and the feats of warfare are going, or the feats of strength, rather, are going to be claimed here by AKM. They will get the first 3 kills, and now they will turn that into a dragon. We talked about how Radagon and Melania being that double range bot lane and having that aggressive 2v2 will give them shove to make these aggressive plays for this Elise. We meant it more in so a way to get those invades off, but it also works in the case of the objectives. And so AKM are just going to pick that one up as buy.
Oh yeah, World Ender going to be coming through, but Jerry X is here. And actually isn't even needed. Bai loves you, just getting the solo kill in the top side as the Gwen.
Yep, so they will shove this in. Lost from Light, also with no teleport, is going to miss so many minions. By the way, as Fiery looking for a potential solo kill. Bok Choy does have R.
Yep, Fortnite is here. Cocoon hasn't landed quite yet, but they are buying some space. Sombrero from Bok Choy going to be there. Will dodge away the Cocoon of the decimating smash. And that's definitely going to be a good play for Bok Choy because he cannot keep going down.
Yeah, he can't afford to go down there. If that Cocoon landed, it would have been a kill. And that Orianna would have been in a really, really difficult position. But luckily, Bok Choy, despite not having the flash, does manage to fancy footwork his way out of that situation. Still, though, the situation that he's found himself in is still really dire. He's constantly getting himself shoved in and getting himself chunked out. And as we saw, it doesn't matter if you're, toward the tower. Elise can still dive you, right? She's one of the best champions at this. So really, for the case of Bok Choy, I have to feel like it is about conserving that health bar. So even when you're under the tower, the threat of getting 100 to 0'd isn't there for the Elise. So if you have to give up minions to do that, so be it. If you have to give up Prio to do that, so be it. This will probably amount to AKM being firmly in control of these early game objectives, though. Like we saw, they got the dragon, and the Otacon is spawning in a couple of seconds, and AKM are already setting up for it.
You have another setting up for a play in the top side as well. Fiery repels forward, but the ghost gonna be enough space for Bai Loves You to get away. And we were talking about the win condition coming out from Fiery needing to get ahead early. When we quickly swapped over to the gold graph, I saw something interesting. Radagon up a 400 gold over Bibim Buldak, who incidentally has been swapped in for this game.
Yeah, some new AD carry here, but the ADC is not going to be a part of this fight. They are just cordially farming in the bot lane as AKM first to the river, have Prio in top side, and Bai Loves You is just completely zoned off. He will not be a part of the fight, but better late than never. And now is maybe their time to strike.
Decimating smash over top, but they have the shockwave. Melania flashing away. Will get set up with a cyclone, and Bok Choy going to be able to get the kill over for Legacy Amber. And with that, they'll be able to secure the final grub.
It's a flash and a heal burn from Melania, but he also goes it down. So, I mean, not the worst in the world for AKM. You get the grubs and you only sacrifice your support and their sums to do so. And you also give Radagon time to get a couple of plates down here in the bot lane and continue growing that gold lead that you mentioned earlier between the 80 carries, Toki. It just feels like Legacy need to find some way to put this Elise behind, but you don't really have the priority to do so. Jerry just recently unlocked that Cyclone, so the Wukong, up until this point, hasn't been able to really fight back. That now, even though he has hit that point where he can actually scrap with the Elise, you don't have the priority, you don't have the numbers, and you don't have the space to actually look aggressively into this Elise's jungle.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the really difficult part for Legacy Amber, but they are bringing the gold back, and actually Fortnite taking a decent amount of damage in the mid lane. Phase Rush is going to be procced, but doesn't know where Fiery is, knows that Fiery has liked the middle lane, so not going to chase after Fortnite there. But at least we're seeing Bok Choy is able to farm up 81 CS right now. Fortnite's able to farm up as well, but the priority might be shifting.
And he's finally going to be able to shove in this wave. Has teleport to get back to the lane. So for the first time, won't actually be missing out on too much with this push and in this laning matchup. So it's a good thing for him. You can also see that Jerry is toward the bot side. Fortnite does not have that unstoppable onslaught, so there is maybe an opportunity to look for him in the mid lane, but I just feel like the damage isn't there yet, right? We haven't seen this Orianna get her first item quite yet. Jerry is still sitting on a tunneler, so this Scion really has no care in the world. Even if he didn't have flash and didn't have that safety net of his summoner spell, he would probably still be fine playing this aggressively, knowing that the damage just isn't there for the Legacy Amber mid jungle so far.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a shorter lane as well means they have that much less time to get the damage out. But we're going to be seeing a play happening at the top side. Baya loves you. Actually going to be going forward as now World Ender and Needlework both getting pop fire. Going to get the cocoon, and they just need one more hit. Needlework going to get dodged and lost from light. Going to get another kill at the top side.
Yep, Lost getting his first of the game. So the Aatrox finally coming online here, as we are going to get a little replay of the fight. Nothing too in-depth about this one. I like that Fiery has the discipline to hold the cocoon until he's in the Hallowed Mist and then casts it. It dodges out the Needlework like you said, Toki, and it is just a auto to cleave through that Gwen. And yeah, Aatrox on the board here will be able to get that shove in the top side. Baya loves you, going to miss out on those resources because he doesn't have teleport. Dragon on the bot side is up, though, and I feel like that's where our eyes have to start wandering to. You can see that both AKM and Legacy Amber are vying for any kind of vision they can get ahead of this take.
Yeah, but right now the priority has definitely been favoring Fortnite in the mid lane and Radagon over in the bot lane. JX going to try to negate some of this walking in as Valdano, actually a bit of a quieter game this time around from him. Now, we typically did see him on the Braum. We saw them on some of those other more aggressive champions, on the Bard, but now Fortnite forced to flash away. Will be okay, but that's going to be the ultimate and the flash bird is now over towards the bottom side. Valdano is just talking about him. Going to be in a pretty bad spot. Will try to flash away. Needs to jump over the wall. And Jerry X, but Fiery has the repel. Will be able to get the extra kill with the Venomous Bite. And now it's going to be 1v2, but it is Jerry X versus Fiery. And over the backside, Bok Choi is in the area. Wild Growth is going to be there now. Radagon out of nowhere, coming in with the damage. Explosive shot. Not going to be enough to get the kill, but Fiery on a killing spree, 5-1 on the Elise.
And Jerry has to be cursing not having that Cyclone up for the fight. When Fiery goes over the wall, if you had that ultimate available, you probably could have traded 1-for-1, but because he used it in the mid lane on that attempt to take Fortnite's life, he didn't have that key for the dueling power. And so what results is Melania being able to close the gap, heal up, and grab that ultimate onto his jungler. And it is more kills going over to AKM. Now it's a fight in the top side, though.
Yeah, looks like Lost from Light are going to be on the losing end of this trade to start, but Baya loves you. Just going to get completely burst down. A couple of criticals coming out from the Darken Blade, and that's all it takes. Got to land those sweet spots. And mid lane tier 1 goes down along with Bok Choi, and that's just going to be the feats of strength going over to AKM.
Yup, the Baus tactic is working wonders here for Fortnite as the Scion getting the first tower of the game in the mid lane. It'll be feats claimed here as well for AKM. They got it with the Dragon, but it is just further pushed in with the tower. This gold is really, really in favor of the Akuma Twinblades so far. 26,000 to 21,000. The plates now dropping means that it'll be a lot more difficult for Legacy Amber to recoup that gold loss with the plates. They actually have to take down the towers, which could be difficult. As we've seen, the Legacy Amber soul laners have really tried pushing up, trying to deal any damage they can onto these turrets, but only to get punished, as we saw Lost from Light getting that solo kill onto Bai because he tried to get more damage on that turret. Now, though, the Dragon not going to be up for a while. Herald's going to be up soon, so I have to imagine that is probably what both of these teams are going to be rotating up to, where we can see Radagon and Melania swapping to the mid lane just to give them that numbers advantage ahead of this neutral.
Yeah, and Jerry X is going to be spotted out by Fiery here as well. And you talk about both these two teams walking up for this Herald, but there is a 5k gold lead in the pockets of Akuma right now. So if they're going to be able to keep this pressure up, if they can push the vision line, and right now with the way Fiery and Melania are kind of grouping together, just walking forward into the jungle of Jerry X, it's going to be so difficult for them to approach this objective. And this isn't the Otacon. They're not going to get killed by the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I mean, Rift Herald, honestly, really good as Melania
Needlework
running
over the
away,
top.
barely dodges
Not
the
going to be able to buy enough space for Melania.
Well.
is going to be slowed down. Now they have the stun back on a Jerry X, trying to go forward with a Warrior Trickster Nimbus Strike, but the range just isn't there. And Jerry X down to less than half HP. And now Lost from Light is here as well. Cocoon going to land, and that's going to be a pick off Melania with the last hit there. And that should do it for the objective.
Yeah, Fiery with the snipe, and they pick up the jungler. Objective gone. Like you said, it's a foregone conclusion at this point as Fortnite, without a care in the world, just happily pushing onto the bot side. We were maybe preparing for him to,
going in towards Bok Choy.
Yep.
Gonna pass by a little bit.
Yeah, probably not going to want to full commit. That shockwave available for the Orianna as we got more fighting in the top lane, but Lost from Light is very strong right now. I don't know if you want to take this 1v1, honestly, by.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a rough one, but you say that Radagon probably doesn't want to full commit. We have seen what both of these two teams have done in games 1 and 2. That's why I'm just never sure. Are they full committing? Are they just trading? You never really know until you see the respawn timers come out.
Yep. Expect the unexpected as Fortnite.
Going to get interrupted by the Killer Instinct.
Maybe not.
Redemption will be able to buy enough HP, and Fortnite should definitely be going down here. There's going to be a second Redemption, but Fortnite nowhere near the range for it. Just going to be going down, and they're going to give that kill over to Bib and Boldak, as that's going to be the first kill of the game for this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, but the question is this Kai'Sa accelerated just a little too late as more fighting on the top side? It never stops with these two.
Needlework is there. World Ender as well. Lost from Light. Gonna get shut down by Loves. You're just able to run it down with the Ghost.
Yeah, he manages to pick up that kill. The Gwen with that new needlessly large rod. The damage is enough to make the difference. Now, finally starting to get online are the scaling components of Legacy Amber. The Kai'Sa getting their first of the game. The Gwen getting their second. A little less than a minute ahead of this Dragon. You can see that Bai is going to shove in the wave and then immediately teleport probably down toward this bot side. Fortnite actually teleporting to the top side without ultimate, by the way. So this Scion may not be available to join up if there is a skirmish around this Dragon, which... honestly, looking at the current state of the map, it doesn't look like there's going to be. So Legacy Amber maybe just content with giving away Soul Point at this moment.
Yeah, and I also think with Fortnite's build right now, Titanic Hydra and the Hollow Radiance, just so fast of pushing the lane that even if he can't join the fight,
let him free.
Exactly. Bai loves he can't join the fight either, but instead gonna be auto attack, gonna be trading back the snip, dealing 1 billion damage over to Fortnite. Doesn't have the needlework yet, but maybe with one more dash it will be enough. Trying to come through. Soulford is buying a little bit of time. The snip is all that's needed, and it's gonna burn the flash. Needlework now back up, but instead gonna be stunned up underneath the turret, and actually gonna be traded 1 for 1.
A teleport just to secure the kill onto the Gwen. That is prime time hater energy. That's like worse than the reverse flash.
Yeah, and then now they might be getting bait a little bit in, and Radagon immediately going to try to flash away as Fiery getting into a very bad spot. Will get shut down as Radagon in the front line. Going to be going down as well, and is he do for nothing? Shockwave as well. Melania going to be forced to flash, and they're just going to dive underneath the turret. A little bit more damage, and Bok Choy going to get the kill.
Lost from Light is here trying to save his own tower, but he is just completely surrounded. He cannot save this one, I don't think.
But World Ender is going to pop. There are a couple of targets. Going to be able to get 1. Bib and Boldak is going to be down. Going to get 2. Jerry X is going to be the next to follow. Voldaño not going to be able to land the winner's bite. And with the next shot, that's going to be 3. Lost from Light looking for the 1v4 Quadra. Not going to be able to land the Darkened Blade, but massive defense coming out from the top laner.
And when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light, as Lost from Light saves the game for the second time around. Doesn't get the Quadra, but will settle for the triple and saves his tower in the mid lane. Let's get a look at that exchange again. All right, so we see the top side. Fortnite goes down by... ends up getting traded. And then, this is the worry that we had about this comp, right? How overcommittal this kind of a team can play. You immediately use the repel, and then you immediately use the rocket jump. These are your 2 primary engage tools, but they're also your primary disengage tools. And so when they use that, disrespectfully, they get taken down without really any chance to react. Melania is there to follow as well. Tried his best to save his teammates, but he ends up falling. This is the conceit with this comp. This is what we've warned against, but luckily, Lost from Light does his thing and just absolutely demolishes every member of LA.
Yeah, and then, I mean, after that, they're so low and just continuously renewing that world ender. I mean, this is a scary moment to be in, and Bok Choy at this point doesn't have the damage. And the fact that Winter's Bite missed means the loss from Light isn't even getting slowed down. I'm actually a little bit surprised Lost from Light didn't try to continue on to Bok Choy. I think there definitely is a possibility, but considering we've seen overcommittals from both teams, I kind of understand why you'd want to play a little bit further back, but I mean, I would have loved to see it, but that's just a hype caster within me.
Well, that's the hype caster within me as well. As you know what gets us the most hyped, Toki? You know what gets every caster the most hyped? It's Otacon fights.
Oh, yes. Otacon always been our favorite, and they're actually going to start by popping the Rift Herald, and typically we see that used for the Dragon, but it looks like they're just going to use that to get priority over this Otacon. Yeah, they're looking for Bok Choy. Fiery is in position. Shockwave going to buy a little bit of space, and JX with the burst over top. Now Melania with the Wild Growth going to be able to buy a little bit of space. Rocket Jump for Radagon over the top, as Melania is going to dodge away on the Glacial Fissure, but there's too many members just going to be going down. And now the Otacon might be going over to Legacy Amber.
And this is what we talked about, right? The AKM early game, that is where they really need to attack. But the moment Legacy Amber group on up, the moment this team fight and comp team fights, they become such a threat, such a menace to this game. And Fiery, unfortunately, just gets immediately blown up. Now has 0 stacks on the Dark Seal as well. This Elise had their time in the sun, but now they're just getting burned.
And now the question is, did they get the rest of their team up far enough for this? As now TP over to the top side and immediately into the ensemble onslaught, looking over for Bok Choy and Bim and Bulldog. Bok Choy going to be the target, but in the backline, Lost from Light looking for Jerry X. And it's just a bit of a split fight, but there are the numbers here for Legacy. Lost from Light trying to survive is going to get cut down. And now Bio loves you, trying to chase forward. Radagon going to be the next to follow. Fortnite is tanky, but not tanky enough. And Legacy Amber, after everything's said and done, they get another 3.
And now they're just going to push onto the top side. We can see that Fiery is on the bot side. This Elise is nowhere to be found. Maybe he can look for some kind of a cheese on the inhibitor, but that's not even going to be possible as Jerry is there to take over for those minions. We got 30 seconds until the dragon spawns. All the members except for 2 are down for the side of AKM, but the problem here, Toki, is the waves are not in their favor. Mid is still pushed in. Bot is being currently pushed in by Fiery. They need to rebound the current position of these waves on the side lanes and mid lane before they can move into the river, and that is time Akuma can use to respawn, recoup, and regroup for this fight and possibly this soul.
Yeah, but even so, they're gonna be able to get the Scuttle Crab for themselves on Legacy Amber. Everyone is back up, but first position, first move is there for Legacy Amber, and now the gold lead no longer as significant as it was. And Melania and Fiery, they're spotted out in this bot side and immediately going to get pushed off. Valandio actually going to be able to find a little bit of a play in the backside. Glacial Fish are going to be able to hit onto Fiery as Fiery trying to get away. Wild Growth is there to buy a little bit of space, but immediately going to be going down. Melania still trying to get away from Jerry X. As now I Loves You trying to buy some space, kiting backwards, and it's more than enough. Jerry X is unstoppable. Radagon, 1 Marauders all that season. Bim and Bulldog going to be able to get him with the flash. Snip, hooray. And it is another 4-0 as Legacy Amber, they just can't lose these fights.
And AKM, the Twinblades, they went from serrated, but now they're doled out. Fiery is out of juice. This Elise is officially out of the spotlight. The itsy bitsy spider cannot climb up the water spout again, and the Legacy Amber members are burning the AKM Twinblades. We see in this team fight, they pick off the Elise, and one by one as they group on up, this is what their comp excels at. And ever since that last dragon fight, they have not left each other's side. This is what the comp was made for, and it is picture perfect here from Legacy Amber in the mid to late game.
And even said this during the draft. They're okay to give up 1, 2, even 3 dragons, but they have to get the 4th. They have to be ready to fight that. And that's exactly what they've done. That's been their exact tempo timer. And now look at them. They all have bounties on them. 350 in the top lane, 700 on Jerry X, and every single one of their carries has items. Every single one of their playmakers has the items they need to succeed. Bio Loves You definitely struggled a little bit in the early game, but at this point, Fortnite can't match him. Lost from Light can't match him. So what do you do with this Gwen?
Yeah, lost from Light. Had that hero play triple kill in the mid lane and was the hero of game 2 as well on the Ambessa. But heroes sometimes fall to the villains, and Legacy
Yeah, now
Amber.
they have found Valdinio, but not going to be able to get a decimating smash. Now TP coming through, Cyclone onto Fiery. Will be able to dodge
got
away
nowhere
with
to
the repel,
go.
but what about the follow-up? Gonna get knocked up, flashes into the Glacial Fissure. Now Bai loves you. The Gwen is now here. Radagon trying to get away. Summoner heal has to be used. Lost from Light will sacrifice himself for the team. But again, it's another 2 for nothing. Legacy Amber just keep winning every fight.
And one of those casualties of war is the AKM jungler. Fiery goes down yet again. We saw the wild growth there from Lania to try and keep him alive, but unfortunately it's just not enough. The Elise is too damn squishy, and this Baron is too damn squishy as Legacy Amber are going to take it down. They are coming back in this game after what was such a tilting, or at least you have to imagine it was tilting. Game number 2, they have rebounded, shown us that it was a fluke, and that they are here to play. The reverse sweep will not come to fruition, and it should have been a 2-0.
Dan, it's crazy on this gold swing as well. It was a 5k gold lead for AKM. Now it's almost a 5k gold lead for Legacy Amber instead, as Fortnite cancels the recall.
Okay.
Might be looking for a play, but there's no one nearby.
Okay. Nope.
I mean, they wouldn't expect the unstoppable onslaught.
Oh, is he looking for like a flank angle here? Maybe? He doesn't have ult, by the way.
Oh, you're right.
He has 1250 gold. Bro, go back.
I'm wondering if this is just a case of not quite desperation, but just feeling like they haven't been able to get a fight on their turn.
Please spot it out. Oh, we see him. Or wait, do we? Wait, what? He didn't show on the wave? I guess not.
This is the most confusing
what is happening? We're
I've
just really invested in like this prop hunt Scion.
Yeah, waiting for the ultimate. That's what it was. Unstoppable onside is there. Gotta walk it away and reset there. I am so confused, but has the flank. We're Fortnite gamers right now.
He's preparing the ultimate. He's gonna look for the flank. He's going to do it. Oh no, he's just catching the wave. Okay. I see. Why isn't he threatening the inhib? It's exposed.
Yeah, definitely could, but Bok Choy might be getting threatened here as well. All alone in a 4. Lost from Light, flashing forward, looking for the extra Dragon Blade. Not going to be enough, and the heals from the wild growth negated by the damage as Bib and Bidak going to continue walking forward. Malena going to be the next to go down, and it's just a 3 for nothing. Fortnite is going to be here now, and he cut the wave in the mid lane, but there's another one in the top lane, and that might have just been it. Out of nowhere, Legacy Amber just able to chain this into a win.
Fiery is like a walking caster creep at this point. This Elise is just an afterthought at this moment. So it literally is just a 1v5. Can Fortnite stall out enough time?
Trying to go into the unstoppable onslaught, trying to buy time, trying to deal some damage. Fiery gonna go down as well. And that is everything said and done. Legacy Amber, they don't keep their game streak alive, but they keep their series alive. 2-1. They are still undefeated in Group A.
Undefeated team in Group A, poised to win it all now, as this was by far their biggest challenge so far in the Immortal regular season. Bye, I love you, Jerry, Bok Choy. Remind me of the AD carry again. Bibin something.
Bibin Bolvac.
Bibin Bolvac and Valdinio. Remember their names, because apparently I can't remember them all. But yeah, good series overall from them. I think they were really disappointed in game number 2. We talked about the mental and maybe not being in the right headspace after a game that you obviously should have won, but they recovered beautifully. Like, we were concerned about the early game, but the moment that Elise like fell off in terms of damage, fell off in terms of just being able to run around in the map, I feel like the game completely shifted in their favor, right? They were constantly grouped up. They were constantly looking for objectives. Their target selection was really good. Fiery wasn't relevant in any of those fights post 15 minutes. And so I feel like overall, really good stuff from them, understanding their win con, what their comp wants to do, and being patient with it. Like we said, be okay with giving up a few dragons and just play to when your comp really can go for that all gas, no breaks play style.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at the game, even before they completely took over, you have to say Lost from Light was able to get that triple kill over in the mid lane, kind of bring the game back, but that was still at the start a huge play for Legacy Amber. So even in that mid game, they were still the ones that were making the proactive plays. They were still trying to get the game going forward, and eventually they managed to get it. And considering game 2, and I maintain no flame over to Akuma because they did play a fantastic series as well, but game 2, Legacy Amber were definitely in control for most of it. They should have won that.
Legacy Amber, that was Legacy's Amber's game to throw, and they did throw it. I think that is a really fair analysis, right? Like I don't think at a certain point it wasn't even Akuma's to win; it was literally Legacy's to lose. So I do think that they capitalized well in game number 2. I do think that they had a really solid early game in game number 3. But we talked about the comp and the ease of execution. And Elise is a champion where you have to constantly be getting fed. You need to constantly be getting these resources, getting these kills. If it lets up at any point, it's just over for you, right? Especially if the enemy team has scaling in their wheelhouse, or they have a good team fighting comp where they can all clump together and make it difficult for you to single any one of them out. It just makes your game impossible. And that's exactly what happened. Both of those points were hit on. And that's why the Elise, even though they had a really solid early game, wasn't really able to do anything post 15 minutes. So ease of execution strikes again. And Legacy Amber, like we said, continue to be undefeated in Group A. The question now becomes, who can stop these guys?
Yeah, they've definitely shown cracks in different points in this game. So at this point, I believe they're mathematically guaranteed to be in the playoffs. So the real question is, because they beat Akuma, they beat Drop Dead, but can someone else find those cracks? Can someone else exploit them? And will they be able to fix them before the playoffs? I think those are the big questions.
Yep, those are the big questions on everyone's mind. But I don't think we have any more questions pertaining to the game and the series and the stream tonight on our mind. So from myself, from my illustrious co-caster Toki, and from our production crew behind the glass, thank you everyone so much for watching. We will see you guys next week as the Immortal League continues to roll around its regular season, and those playoffs are getting right around the corner. You won't want to miss these next couple of weeks, everybody, but we will see you all in 7 days. Take care.